everybody, and welcome to the Big Iron Event Center in Grand Island, Nebraska, as we get set for football tonight. You have Nebraska Siege taking on the St. Joseph Goats. Josh Sam and Luke McCarg along with you. It's going to be a great night of football tonight. You have the number one offense in the league in St. Joseph and the number one defense in the league in Nebraska Siege. So it's just looking to be a very good game tonight all around. These teams saw each other earlier in the year, and it was a fun matchup, and there's kind of maybe a bad taste in the Goats' mouth. Luke, let's talk about some keys for the game for you tonight.
Yeah, very interesting to see how this matchup plays out. You have incredible speed and the best receiving room in the Arena League with the St. Joseph's Ghosts. They've got 5 guys who can really produce out there. They're all fast and hard to tackle. So can the Siege DBs run with them? And can they tackle in the open field because of how good they are after the catch? And then on the other side of things, last time the tight ends had a field day for the Siege against the Goats. So how much pressure will the Goats send against those tight ends, and then how will they be able to defend Songi Yates, a new player they haven't seen yet at quarterback?
Yep, Nebraska needs to keep the penalties down. They had 11 last week for 130 yards, which is one of the higher games they've had this year. They still lead the league in defense, as we mentioned. For meat, it's going to get down. You have Vince Brown with 4 touchdowns last week. Obviously, Songi Yates threw 6. But I think they're going to maybe utilize him a little bit more, and they're going to, they're going to cover Yates, cover Vince Brown a little bit more is what I'm saying, and they're probably going to utilize Kevin Davis. We haven't really said his name too much in the last couple of weeks, so look for Davis to get open tonight. He's going to be my key to go.
Yeah, for sure. Dorsey Golson, a very good coach on the other side. They're going to make the adjustment. They're not going to let Brown get loose all game long, so somebody's going to have to step up. Those true receivers, they're going to have to fill Yates' vacancy at receiver since he's playing quarterback. Look at Kevin Davis to have a big game.
Nebraska beat Eau Claire last week 52-28. St. Joe lost 65-38 to Iowa. Iowa's been kind of playing the spoiler. They're 3 in a row they've won. Nebraska will travel to Iowa and take on the Woo next week. So this is an important game. Nebraska just has to win 1 of 2 to solidify home field advantage for the playoffs.
Yeah,
there's McCoy last week. He is not playing this week as quarterback. They have their other quarterback back. Yeah,
the Goats have used 3 quarterbacks this season. Trujillo started their first 2 games, was very effective in those first 2, but then went down with the injury. They brought in Josh White, who started the next 2 games. McCoy has been in the last 2 weeks. Angelo Trujillo did come in at the end of the game last week. It wasn't enough to bring the Goats over Eau Claire, but they'll be happy to have their guy back under center.
Yeah, McCoy did a really nice job. 19 completions of 38 attempts last year, but Trujillo had 6 completions, 17 attempts, 47 yards, and threw 2 touchdowns. Both the quarterbacks did throw an interception last week. Songi Yates, the player of the week in the league, and he did a little bit of everything, Luke. He was fantastic overall. If you look at him, for Songi Yates, he's rolling here on this one, but he was 8 of 25, 222 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, a 72% completion rate.
Yeah, really incredible for a guy who has never played quarterback in his life before this season, always just kind of been that emergency guy, but he really looks so comfortable back there in the pocket. He used his legs more last week, which is something that Siege fans will love to see because he is one of the best athletes on the field at all times.
I liked how they utilized Elijah Gray. There he is running last week. Look for him to get some more. He's kind of the guy that gets you the yards, and then they went to the air to get the 6'6" Vince Brown. So we'll see what Nebraska has up their sleeve tonight. I think they have something else that we haven't seen yet tonight, so don't ever rule out Coach Bramante. Always got a trick up his sleeve.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see as we get set up for the throw-off.
Coming back, we'll have the throw-off for you. It is Siege. It is the Goats, 2 highest teams in their division, taking off against each other, number 1 offense, number 1 defense. This is the Arena League football from Grand Island, Nebraska. We'll be right back. It's against my will. Welcome back. Throw-off is going, and back to receive is Kevin Davis in the end zone. Takes it out to the 5, scrambles to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, and pushes away to the 25, back to about the 20. Still going. Maybe the 18-yard line. A really good run there for Kevin Davis to get good field position for the Siege, something they haven't had the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, one of the best returns we've seen from Davis in a while. He took a kick back for a touchdown in the opening game of the season against Memphis. It's been a lot of Daquan Dudley in those returns lately, but Davis getting them into plus territory here to start us off.
So let's see here what happens with the Siege on offense on their first down. Josh Salmon, Luke McCarg with you here on the broadcast from the Big Iron Event Center, Grand Island, Nebraska, on the Ramada Field.
Something new we're seeing here, Elijah Gray split out at wide receiver, and Keyshawn Cunningham in on offense, usually a defensive back.
Right, yeah, we haven't seen Cunningham. I told you there's going to be some tricks in the Siege. Different white hat tonight. Aaron Taylor is the white hat tonight. Ooh, I thought maybe it'd be offsides. It's a quick pass, and that one almost thrown away. Boy, they got in there quickly, and I'm surprised no whistles on that. St. Joseph crossed that line pretty quick.
Yeah, I thought maybe you'd see an offsides there with Reynolds and Willis both coming off, but Yates lucky that wasn't intercepted. He was looking for Cunningham, as we mentioned, and James Petrie was right there. Almost got an interception on the first scrimmage play of the game.
Guy you got to watch tonight is Michael Reynolds, number 55. They call him the Gravedigger for a reason. We'll say his name a couple times tonight.
Yeah, it was second team All Big 12 at Kansas. He is a big-time difference maker in the middle.
So now second down, ball on the, call it the 19. Handoff this time goes up to Gray. Elijah up to the 15, to the 10. Scrambles to about the 7. Be pushed down about the 5-yard line. There's Elijah Gray doing what Elijah Gray does. Good yardage.
There the Siege just caught the Goats defensive ends upfield in pass rush there, and then they just handed it off in an easy lane with both pass rushers coming up the field already.
So his shoe came off, his shoe broke, so Joseph Hampton in there, who I saw him in the hallway before the game, always very cordial. He'll talk. Some players don't like to be bothered. He was fine with being talked to before the game. So Hampton comes in while Elijah Gray fixes his cleat. And in motion, he's going to go up to the opposite side, throw it up to Vince Brown, who we might have pass interference. No, wow, I thought for sure it would be all over him. Lorfields was all over Vince Brown, but no whistle.
Yeah, slightly different officiating crew. We might see some different calls here, and they're an early sign that these officials are going to let them play. And then also to note, some number changes for the Siege. That's Daquan Dudley wearing number 4 for the Siege.
Yeah, also he was wearing 80 earlier in the year. So now it's second down and 10 to go here for the Nebraska Siege. And I think a timeout's going to be called by Nebraska. So, yeah, I think Nebraska just wants to kind of calm down. Vince Brown asking the white hat here about the officiating on that one. Boy, his hands were all over him, but you just got to let it go and move on. Again, for me, I think it's going to get down to Kevin Davis. I think they're going to defend Brown like we saw tonight. That's going to be the MO tonight for St. Joe. Look for Kevin Davis to get open. Maybe he's one of the other guys stepping up, and to make the big plays tonight.
Also, they're just outside of the 5-yard line here. You could see Songy Yates using his legs. Quarterback cannot run inside of the 5-yard line in the Arena League, but he is good to run from here as long as he crosses the line of scrimmage between the hashes.
Yeah, ball officially on about the 6. So there's Coach Dominic Bermonte. Still my favorite thing of him all year long was the dancing in the locker room.
Yeah, he is a real player's coach.
And he does love the Frank Sinatra and that kind of music. Rat Pack, you might call. Back is Yates. Looks to throw. Goes underneath. And can't get it. Looking for Dudley, but just a little low throw. Good coverage there by the St. Joseph Goats.
And they're an inexperienced quarterback. He had Elijah Gray wide open on the wheel route coming up on the top of the screen, but just didn't see him. Tried to force it in there, and they'll have another chance at it here on third down.
James Petrie on the cover and added to the roster this week. He's a cornerback from Kentucky State. Graduated from there in 2017. That's information I have on him, but he's a new add. So now third down and goal here for Nebraska. No score in the first. Yates back to throw. He's got time. He runs it himself. Takes it up to the 3. Scrambles out there and gets about the 2-yard line before finally getting tackled by Darius Lorfis. But not a bad run. Now you got to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, there I mentioned his legs earlier. That's another factor that they didn't have when they were playing last time. Caleb Lowe was at quarterback, not as much of a runner, but Yates is really good at evading those rushers. As there you saw Reynolds getting into the backfield right away, but no matter, Yates was able to scramble out, pick positive yards, and make it a shorter fourth down opportunity here.
And you got to be careful with that, too, because he's your only quarterback. So you don't want him to get hurt either on the running plays. Looking to throw this time. Yates throws it up, and man, there's going to be guys down. That's pass interference there. Vince Brown got tripped up, and now the flag's going to go out.
Yeah, kind of an unlucky play for the Goats on that one, as he sort of just tripped over him. Those Amir Anderson in coverage as both just fell in, but obviously on that one, Vince Brown, no chance to catch the ball because he was tripped. So they'll have a new set of downs, first and short.
So Hankey comes out on that one. Head Whitehead talks it over to Aaron Taylor. He was the one that threw the flag, but see where they're spotting the ball here. Right now it's just sitting right outside the goal line, like 4 inches to our right.
Ball will probably figure out to be about at the 1 yard line after half a distance.
So about the half-yard line, as you said, or the 1, I guess, they're putting it out. So now you go here. 4th and goal. You got to go for the siege. You got to get this one in. Do you go up the middle with Gray? That's what I see happening.
Yeah, they have 4 cracks at it now because of the automatic first down.
And they did go up the middle, and Gray is getting nowhere. He got sandwiched by a pile of Goats.
Yeah, there's Joko Willis, who briefly attended the University of Nebraska Kearney, so familiar with the area.
Hails from LaGrange, Georgia. There's a ZZ Top song called LaGrange. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
There is.
Willis, 3 interceptions this season to lead the Goats. According to the stats we have, he did have a pick the last time these two teams faced off.
So Elijah Gray tried that time. This time looking for Dudley in the back of the end zone. Do they get it? And he is touchdown. That is Dudley right there for the TD. Daquan Dudley from Carson Newman University. I like them utilizing him. Like I said, Vince Brown's going to be covered, so you got to find somebody else.
And there you see, I mentioned earlier in this game that you're going to have your true receiver step up, because Songy Yates was their go-to guy earlier in the season, but now that he's playing quarterback, one of those guys is going to have to step up, whether it's Kevin Davis, Daquan Dudley, and there it is, Dudley getting loose for the touchdown.
I don't have a touchdown for him on the season for the Siege.
He did have one last week.
Okay. So that's only second. First one of the home games, though. So now going for the extra point here. Scrambling is Yates. Got defenders all over him. Chucks it across field and gets it in. Wow, nice job on the catch there for David Brown. Last second effort. Yates looking a little more comfortable back there in the pocket under pressure. And is the extra point there. Now it's 7-0 Nebraska.
Yeah, that was a heck of a throw there by Songy Yates. Throwing it over a defender. Petrie couldn't quite get a hand on it. David Brown brings it in. Who was not active last week. They'll be happy to have it back.
So 7-0 Nebraska here at the end of their first possession. You got to be happy for Coach Matt Kayward and Coach Dominic Ramonte. Be happy with your team. You took the ball, you got down there, got a crucial penalty, got it in, took advantage of the lemons and made the lemonade. And so now let's see what St. Joe can do with their legs. They're a very good team.
There you saw trends proving to be right. The Siege are the #1 red zone offense in the Arena League, converting 80% of the time inside the 5-yard line, and the Goats not so good in that category, so that'll be one very interesting storyline. You have the best red zone defense in the Siege, who play excellent with their back against the wall. It'll be interesting to see how that matchup plays out.
Look who's throwing it off. Mr. Quarterback or Mr. Touchdown himself last week had 4. Vince Brown threw that one off, letting it bounce. There's Boo Smith, and that'll be the touchback into the end zone.
These throw-offs will be interesting to watch. Boo Smith, a dynamic athlete. He had a couple good returns last week, setting up his team in plus field position, and he'll be a big player to watch in this one. The 2024 Arena League MVP, all-time leader in receiving yards and touchdowns in league history, so keep an eye out on #1 on the outside.
Angelo Trujillo back there. To his right is Lorfitz. Warfield, excuse me.
Should be Wilson.
Oh, you're right. There's it out. That one does go to Boo Smith. Receives it about the 11. Bounces around. Pushed back to about the 10. We'll see where they spot this one. But not a bad play there for the Goats to begin the possession. Yeah, you're right. That is 10 back there. Sorry, his shirt was wrinkled. Looked like a 0 from up here.
He is the leader in scrimmage yards on this team. He's got over 100 rushing yards and over 200 receiving yards.
Back to throw, overthrows his receiver into the sidelines. He's got a good arm back there. Does the quarterback Trujillo, but airs that one out just a little too much.
There's a Sias Gandy in coverage, new addition to the Siege this week out of Wyoming University.
Brand new. Hey, why wouldn't you want to go play for a 6-0 team, right?
For sure.
So now it's going to be 3rd down and 3 here for St. Joe, trailing 7-0 here in their first possession. Double snap, there's it out to his receiver. He didn't know it was coming. I don't think Dom Marshall got the memo on that one. He turns around and, oh, the ball's coming to me, and it was underthrown anyways. So not this first set of downs you want here for St. Joe. Yeah,
Varian Cole got beat there a little bit in coverage, but luckily the Siege got a lot of pressure on the quarterback there with Bruno Canam coming in and Isaiah Nixon as well. And now these Goats will surrender.
It's a good time to also mention Simmons and Serta not in this game today.
Yeah,
basically just saving Serta for the next week and the playoffs. So
yeah, very important. Those 4 guys up front in Simon, Serta, Nixon, and Holmes are their best players on this defense. That is now having some discussions about whether they want to go for this or not on 4th down. So it's really going to be on Isaiah Nixon and Jaleel Holmes to keep this pressure going up front. Bruno Canam active this week for his 2nd game as a member of the Siege. They'll count on them to provide the pressure on the quarterback.
Coach on the field discussing to the White Hat about what's going to go on here. And Coach Juvie down there as well for Nebraska Siege. Talking some things over. They're going to go for here on 4th down. What's it going to be? Looks like they are going to go for it. Yep, Trujillo is out there, so they're going for it. St. Joe needs a big play. You got to like it.
The Goats on the season have not been very good in these short yardage situations. They've converted just 37% of their 4th downs and 58% of their red zone opportunities. Does not bode well for this attempt.
Shovel pass to the right, rolls out to the 10, to the 12, not going to be nearly enough. And ball going to be bouncing around, and that's a good defensive play there by Nebraska. Making the tackle there is Isaiah Gandy.
And there you saw Varian Cole getting in there as well. He ended up bringing him down. Known for his coverage, he's got 4 interceptions on the season, but how about that? You love to see a defensive back come up and make a physical tackle like that in a big spot.
We talked about in the pregame, the Goats have the #1 offense per game, points per game. Siege have the #1 defense in the league. Guess who's number 2 in offense? The Siege. Guess who's number 3 in defense? The Goats.
There you go, Dorsey Golston III taking a risk early in this game, going forward on 4th in his own territory. And now the Siege set up with excellent field position.
Ball on the 12-yard line, we'll call it. Gives it to Gray. No, Yates takes it himself around the right side. Almost gets a face mask. I don't think he went up the alley, though. I'm not sure that's a legal run.
I do think he came outside of the run lane. So we'll see if... Oh, the officials are not going to call it. Wow. All of the Goats defenders were calling for it in their whole bench, but...
I think you have to stay in the lane at least to the line of scrimmage, and then you can take off. But he didn't do that.
Siege might have gotten away with one there.
Now let's see if they take it. The ball sitting on the 7-yard line. Doing a nice job back there. Centerson taken over a couple weeks ago was Holgan. Yates does take it this time, goes back in and takes it himself. Songa Yates for the touchdown. He's in for Nebraska.
There's Songa Yates using his legs. He's a dynamic athlete. I mentioned it last week. He used his legs a little bit more, and there you love to see it. Just with how athletic he is, it's really important. And I think, Josh, that the run lane was widened a little bit. So you see those hashes on the field, the tape down.
Oh, okay.
I believe that there might have been a rule change in the Arena League where they're just widening out the hashes so there's less run lane violations.
That could be
and
a
I
good
think
point.
That's why those last 2 weren't called.
We were not told that, but I think you're right. So now going to go for the extra one here. They converted it earlier, which is something they've had a hard time with. Scrambles underneath. That was going to be a missed throw and just a little low there by Yates, but he got it in himself. 13-0 Nebraska leads here at the end of one, and so far you come out with the number 2 offense beating number 1 offense right now early in this game against St. Joe. St. Joe anything but out of this. We've seen some major plays from them this year. Second time these teams have met up.
Yeah, if there's anything we've learned from these past couple weeks with both these teams playing the Iowa Woo, comebacks happen, and they won't want to get too comfortable here, and that starts right now on this throw-off return where Boo Smith can do anything with the ball back there.
So, PAT was no good, and it's 13-0, so now Boo Smith will receive the pass here from Vince Brown, receives it about the 7, takes it to the 10, jogs around to the 12, out to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, 23, 20, 18, and about the 15-yard line. A pretty good run there for Boo Smith, kind of shaking and baking a little bit against Nebraska Siege defense.
Yeah, I mentioned he had a lot of really good returns last week against Iowa. The Siege have been pretty good most of the season on throw-off returns. They've had a couple long ones get called back for penalties, but there Boo Smith finding a crease and setting up his team with great field position at the 16.
So we'll see. That's where St. Joe will start here on the 16-yard line of Nebraska. See what Trujillo can do here. I look for him to go perhaps to Boo Smith, air this one out a little bit to start it. Down by 13, you don't want to let this one get out of hand too much. Goes in the shotgun by the Ramada Field logo. They do send a man in motion. He goes to that man, goes it to the right, and it's an incomplete pass. Trying to get that one out to Ryan Martinez, and no go.
Ryan Martinez has been with the Goats since the very start when they were the Kansas City Goats. They relocated in their second season to St. Joseph as Oscar Scott down center for the Goats.
Speaking of St. Joe, the Excelsior Springs baseball team, high school baseball team this year, won their first state championship. My cousin, Cale Lyons, was supposed to be the head coach, taking over the new role. He got deployed right before the season. He told the guys, keep your head in it. You guys can win this. He got to watch a championship game from where he's deployed at. I can't divulge into that information, but he got to watch his boys. They sent a special message to him on TV. It was really neat for Excelsior Springs and for Cale, who's deployed right now.
Yeah, great to see that. The Siege are tied into the military with their mascot and everything, and with Epley Airfield, and just great to see the service.
So Oscar Scott comes limping off here, and they're going to send Isaiah Alston out to replace him. Nope, they're going to send, looks like, Ad Ailey out to replace him.
Yeah, A.D. Ely. Isaiah Alston also out there.
So wide receiver is going to be Boo Smith this time on the left side. Lone receiver. Does have Wilson in the back. Trujillo looks to get the ball. Is he going to go to? He's got Boo Smith to the right. Tries to air it out, gets it towards the end zone. And is he going to be in? Touchdown. That one going out to Ryan Martinez. So a very quick draw. I like how they ran Boo Smith to the right, and Nebraska was fooled a little bit on that one.
Yeah, there Ryan Martinez just beating Rian Green one-on-one on the crosser there. It's going to be really important for him to have a big game today because the Goats have such a deep receiving core, so many different guys that can beat you. Every single defensive back has to be on their game today. He has struggled at times out there in coverage. He's going to have to come up big time as this game goes on.
Going to go for 2. St. Joe is back, scrambling. Trujillo's got a couple guys on him, and he's not going to go anywhere. Good defense there by Nebraska as they push him out of bounds.
They're all 3 guys getting home there. Jaleel Holmes, Bruno Kanam, and Isaiah Nixon. As a flag is on the field, it is in the area of holding, though.
Yep, this could be holding. You're right. But I like the quick draw play there from Trujillo. Goes out to Martinez for the Goats to get the touchdown. Martinez last week had 2 receptions for 17 yards. Didn't have a touchdown in that time. Averaged 8.5 yards a game. St. Joseph shooting themselves in the hoof on that one. See what I did there?
There you go.
on the extra point. So it is 13-6 nonetheless on that one. A lot of scoring here in the first quarter, Luke. What have you seen so far? Just very quick offenses for both teams.
Yeah, the Yates running the ball, a big factor in this one so far, and with a long Elijah Gray run, the Goats are going to have to do better against the run game as this one goes on. Maybe not something that they were anticipating being a big part of this game, and then all of the Siege defensive backs are going to have to be at the top of their game because they have so many weapons, do the Goats, and so many different guys that can beat you. It only takes one guy to get beat, and that hurts the entire team.
So now back to receive here for Nebraska Siege is going to be Dequan Dudley, who has the touchdown earlier. Throwing here is going to be Boo Smith, I believe. Nope, throwing that one off is Jackson. Ja'Kalen Jackson takes it to the 5, to the 15, out to the 17-yard line where he got plowed. And it was Jackson making the tackle after the throw. Ran straight up the middle and made the tackle.
Yeah, good run for Dequan Dudley, one of the midseason acquisitions for the Siege coming over from the Omaha Beef, who has steadily increased his play as his tenure has gone on. Each game playing a little bit better than the last.
So you and I kind of talked about this off air. They have more chances for Brent Brown now to be that true tight end with the two bigger guys on the line.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Reggie Patrick out there at all yet. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Last week, Reggie Patrick and Holgoon were both on the field most of the time, freeing up Brown for more yards, but now using David Brown more at tight end.
Dudley rolls, Yates rolls, and he's going to be out of bounds. No, he gets out of it. Oh, they're going to say he ran out of bounds, yeah. Ran into the wall, and the ball kind of crossed over the top of the wall, and I think that is the right call by Aaron Taylor.
And there was the grave digger getting in there on Songy Yates, Mike Reynolds.
I would like to see the grave digger football player and the grave digger monster truck. That would be cool together.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big presence up the middle. He's a little bit on the older side, played his last college years in 2014, but he is as electric as ever.
High throw and can't quite get it out to Kevin Davis. He was one of my guys to watch this game, and Yates just overthrows that one. He's had a lot of guys in his face and a lot of pressure. I know that's something they've worked on this week as a guy that's not a true quarterback. But, Songy Yates is a guy that learns quick.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how much pressure the Goats send here on third down. The tight ends really hurt them last week, David Brown and Vince Brown. The amount of pressure you send affects heavily how much the tight ends get involved.
Now, back to throws Yates. Got a man up, and overthrows his intended receiver, Daquan Dudley. So he likes to look for Dudley tonight here early in this game, but his throws have been a little off. He's overthrown it a few times throughout this game.
Yeah, not the best possession for Songy Yates as they'll presumably surrender here on 4th and long. Taking the sack and then 2 overthrows, but they'll reset.
Do you think it's Yates is overthrowing because he's about my height, so he's about 5'9", 5'10". Do you think he's trying to get over the higher defensive guys? Do you think that's why he's overthrowing?
Well, these things just happen for a quarterback out there. He is not a quarterback. Everybody has to remember that as this game goes on. He is a wide receiver. He played receiver at Lenore Ryan. He's 8th all-time in receiving touchdowns at that school, and he is just doing whatever he can to help the team. Caleb Lowe got hurt. He stepped in at quarterback, and that's how we got to where we are now.
So now a chance to tie this game up, perhaps. Got some yards to go here as they surrender. St. Joseph has the ball. The Goats airs it out. Trujillo looking to go deep to Boo Smith. Puts it into the end zone. Wow, that's what they do when they connect. What a big play there. That one a huge play from Trujillo to Smith right away. And in for the 6.
And I mentioned the speed there. You saw it on that play. Keyshawn Cunningham is fast on the outside, but there's no solving that problem. Boo Smith just flat out outran Keyshawn Cunningham. That's serious speed on the outside, and the Siege are going to have to give a little bit more cushion. They don't want that to happen anymore.
Yeah, that was a 40-yard throw to Boo Smith. And we knew we would see him at some point.
Yeah, Boo Smith, also a member of the U.S. national flag football team. Flag football entering the Olympics.
Yeah, I was going to mention that later, yeah. There's 3 guys that actually tried out for that team from the Goats.
Yeah, Boo Smith making it as, I believe, an alternate, but he is on the roster.
He had 1 touchdown last week. There's it out, and no good on the attempted pass. Ooh, and it knocks the kid in the face over there. Is he going to be all right? Kid down, but ball is incomplete, and kid getting back up. He's fine.
Yeah, looking back at Boo Smith again, and just like that, we are back to a 1-point game. That's how fast this can turn. I can't stress enough how athletic the Goats are at the wide receiver position. They have the best receiving room in the AL, so it's going to be really key for the Siege defensive backs to figure out the appropriate amount of cushion to give on the outside, because if you give too much, these guys are dynamic in space, and they're tough to tackle in the open field, but if you play them too tight, you're going to see them run by you like Boo Smith did there.
And there's a reason why they're the #1 scoring team in this league. We just saw why there for St. Joseph Goats. Out the throw here is going to be Jake Kellen Jackson. Kevin Davis receives it in the end zone to the 5, to the 7, sidesteps to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, into the end zone. Nebraska scored. Takes it back for the 6 on the kickoff. The throw off there, Kevin Jackson. He's still running.
Kevin Davis taking a victory lap now as he hands the ball to a fan out there, but we haven't seen it since week 1. He returned one to the house against Memphis, and there he is. You see the playmaking ability, cutting all the way across the field, taking it back for his second kick return touchdown of the season.
Kevin Davis. I told you before the game, watch him. Watch him tonight. If you want the lottery numbers, Luke, I'll give those to you later.
Yeah, filling that hole of Songi Yates. Obviously, this is different on a kickoff return. He's been in that spot all year long, but he is the next guy up out there. He's very athletic. He was productive at Miami of Ohio and proving it big there.
So now it's 19-12, trying to get the extra point. Does he come down with it? Wow, he did. He jumped up and came down with them. Vince Brown says, hey, what can Brown do for you? That 6'6" frame says, gimme. Puts it in for the extra 1.
And that's why he has the most receiving touchdowns in the Arena League. He has an extreme catch radius, and he's got hands to go along with. He can track the ball, bring it in for the touchdown there.
So brings it down 20-12 now. Nebraska with the lead. Just came out firing as soon as Boo Smith put up a big play, and St. Joe, Nebraska answered right back with a big play of their own on the kickoff nonetheless.
Yeah, there you see making some adjustments on special teams, as Coach Kayward mentioning
what was
here.
He doing?
Just a little bit different stuff they have going on in special teams, so we'll have to take a look at that on the next play, maybe see some key differences there.
I thought they'd have something up their sleeves, but they all wear short sleeve shirts. So Fitz Brown to throw it off. Boo Smith back to run it. He can do the same thing. He's got lightning quick legs. Smith's throw goes to about the 3-yard line. That's where Boo will pick it up. Runs to the 5, sidesteps to about the 6. Nice defense there by Nebraska, not giving him much at all. A guy that's just lightning quick and only got about 4 yards on that return.
This one now, Josh, has the makings of a shootout. We're really expecting this. The Siege are the best defense in the Arena League, as we've mentioned several times, but they are only allowing 34 points per game, I believe. 32 points against per game. The league average is 43. But this one, not following script at all. Now hold on the return will back the Goats up a little further.
Yeah, they're not helping themselves. That's their 3rd penalty of the night.
Oh yeah, coming around the edge, Cunningham. Scott.
So ball going to be on the 4-yard line here for the Goats. Trujillo with some work to do. Scrambles, then gets rid of it. Right in his face with a defender there for the Siege. That is a Varian Cole.
Yeah, interesting package they drew up there. Varian Cole blitzing. He's usually in coverage. And then nice job by Coach Coach Barry, drawing up something different there to create some pressure.
So 2nd down now here for St. Joe. Trying to get something going from the 4-yard line. Quick play. Gets this one out to Martinez, who has the first touchdown tonight for St. Joe, and not much going, gain of about 3.
And there you see a bit of an adjustment there. Rian Green playing with more cushion, and then Martinez countered that in the chess match. That is football. With just short little hitch route, they find it, pick up decent yardage to set up 3rd and 5.
Last week and all season long, 3rd down has been tough for St. Joe. They were 0 for 1 last week, but their percentages have not been good this year in 3rd down.
Yeah, only 37% of the time. 3rd worst in the Arena League. And now I believe you're going to have a delayed game.
13 3rd downs this season and has been rough. And now a delayed game. So the 4th penalty here in the 1st quarter against St. Joe. again, shooting themselves in the hoof.
Now making things a lot easier for the Siege defensive backs, as now they have an opportunity to play off a little bit more.
Ball at the 5-yard line. 3rd and 10. Send 2 men in motion. Trujillo back to throw. Got a man wide open, and Nick Martinez, and he is going to be, let's see, in for the touchdown. He walked it in. I thought maybe there was going to be an offsides penalties there. I wonder why he took so long to get in the end zone, but he did.
Over there, Ryan Martinez going over to the corner boys already. That a factor in this one, but that was just a pure miscommunication. I think you had zone coverage, as you saw Asias Gandy bailing far in the middle of the field and Rian Green staying in short. That resulted in nobody guarding Ryan Martinez, and that's not something you want to see. Just a wide open receiver down the field. That'll drive defensive coordinator crazy.
He could have set up a picnic and had lunch. Rolling right is Trujillo for the extra point, airs it out, and back to his man Martinez and gets it in for the extra point. And now we got a 2-point ball game.
For more. So now already the second touchdown for Ryan Martinez. I was wondering before this game who is going to be the guy for St. Joseph. They have so many great receivers on this roster with Boo Smith, Ryan Martinez, A.D. Ely, and Dom Marshall, all above league average in receiving yards. Ryan Martinez has been the guy earlier in this one, already with 2 long touchdowns as the shootout continues in the first quarter here.
So 20-19. You wanted good football. You got it here tonight from the Arena League. Josh Salmon, Luke McCarg along with you. Nebraska Siege hosting St. Joe, 2 of the top teams in the league facing off tonight. And as you said, a shootout for the OK Corral. We need some cowboy hats and some tumbleweeds going on here tonight. That's what this thing has been. A lot of offense. We're only 55 seconds left in the first quarter. We already have 39 points on the board here. So back to throw again. It's going to be Jackson. Back to receive is Kevin Davis, who ran it back last time. Let's see if they do a shorter throw this time. He's lined up on the 2-yard line. Jackson's throw, airs it out. No, he goes for a big throw this time, looking for the touchback, and that is going to be the touchback play. Probably the right move there for St. Joseph.
Yeah, they don't want to see Kevin Davis get loose again back there.
So Nebraska will not have the best field position this time, but they'll take it. Smart move there by the Goats. Just a back and forth battle here. My scoring sheet is already half full.
Yeah, you might have to add some extra lines.
I might need a second sheet. We're only in the first quarter here on this one.
Yeah, the Siege allowing just 32 points per game on average. They've already allowed 19 in this one, and the first quarter isn't even over.
So 9 first downs last week for Nebraska against Eau Claire. Winning that game. They start off a little rough on defense. Quick pass this time, and reaching over the back, and no good. Defense there by St. Joe. Intended receiver, of course, was Daquan Dudley.
Yeah, James Petrie making his presence known in this one. He's already had a couple nice plays with pass breakups there, perfectly executing on the back end.
It was a quick draw play. I don't think that was supposed to be. So lining up on the outside is the wide receiver, Kevin Davis on this side. Isaiah Gray on the other side. Or excuse me, no, they had Hampton on the other side. Looks to air it out. And he's got a man open, gives it to Davis, and he's in, and there is a flag. This is probably going to be negated anyways. That's going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, I think you had PI on that one, and what a catch by Kevin Davis. We've seen it all year long. He's got incredible hands as we get a replay of it here. Songy Yates just seeing this guy and just chucking it down the field and bringing it in with one hand, I believe. Kevin Davis with the second touchdown of the game.
Who did I say was going to be good tonight?
Oh, yeah, both of us have mentioned it already multiple times. Kevin Davis.
Man.
Big factor in this one, as the rest will talk it over. Presumably it's going to be pass interference.
45-yard throw there, the play overall for Nebraska. They sent 2 guys out. They sent Hampton from the left side. They sent Davis from the right side. Yates rolled right and threw it that way. It was good coverage, but he just placed that ball perfectly. What a really good throw by Songy Yates.
Yeah, and he had his pick there, taking a page out of the Goats playbook and just sending their guys deep. Daquan Dudley had his guy beat. He was more open than Davis was, but then Davis making a nice contested catch for a touchdown. And boy, we'll see if anybody can get a stop in this one.
So here is Songy Yates going for 1. Sends a couple of receivers out there. Who's he going to roll? He rolls left, has to throw across his body. It's going to be a tough play. And nothing doing there. Ooh, and a flag. This is bad defense there. That is all over. That Was Neville Smith all over Vince Brown. Another flag for the Goats.
Yeah, and Josh, that's why you never give up on a play. Vince Brown had no chance of catching that ball, but just coming back to it gave the Goats defense backs a chance to panic and interfere there. There was not a catchable ball, but Vince Brown fighting back for it and gets rewarded with a PI.
7 penalties tonight against St. Joe in the first quarter. And the time is wore out here in the first quarter. I think they're going to let him finish this play.
It should be, they'll probably have this be an on-time down.
Yeah, 7 penalties in the first quarter for St. Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Headlock there, like Step Brothers.
Yeah, that's almost horse collar there. All over Vince Brown.
So last week you saw the Siege going for 2 a lot more. I think they kind of had Yates being able to run in mind there, but they've gone for 1 most of the time in this one.
And in motion is Dudley. Yates rolls right. Got time to throw it, looking for anybody. Everybody's covered. Gotta try to throw it. Then there's that one up to Davis, and wow, brought it down with Hampton. Are you kidding me? Wow, Hampton with one hand being pulled down. Joseph Hampton, thank you very much. I'll take it. No soup for you.
And I think he was trying to throw it to Kevin Davis on that one, who was wide open, and then just airmailed him. But luckily, Joseph Hampton, Johnny on the spot with a one-handed catch, and things bouncing the Siege way right now. Now up 8.
I think everybody but Joseph Hampton was surprised on that play because, yeah, it was intended for Davis. He was trying to go to Davis, and Hampton would just happen to be in the right place at the right time and pulled it in. 27-19, the Arena League football. We'll be back.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
The neighbors just stopped by. Can you throw these on the grill?
Garage beef? Huh. 5 more minutes.
All beef hot dogs. Filled with beer.
Honey, where are the gosh dang dogs?
5 more minutes.
Garage beef from Garage Beer.
What'd you do to these dogs?
Almost done.
Come on, man. Let's get it. First touchdown there. That one by St. Joe. And then another one here. This one goes to Boo Smith. A big play there. 48-yard throw. And gets this one out to Martinez. He just walks it in and says, I'm good. I'll score the touchdown. Thank you. St. Joe.
Yeah, and all of the Goats offense coming on just 3 long plays. 2 of them are man coverage where Martinez and Smith just beat their guys, and then one was just a busted coverage where nobody was guarding Ryan Martinez.
Boo Smith shakes Mason at 8, rolls to the left, and brought down. Nothing doing there. Nice defense by the Siege. And that one is going to be Green. Ryan Green bringing it down there on defense. Good to say his name, the guy from Kearney, Nebraska, just down the road.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a couple times. Going to be a really important part of this game, and we'll see the adjustments that the Siege make defensively to try to bottle in the speed of the Goats.
Yeah, Green listed as a defensive back. Really kind of started the season as a running back, but got him on defense now. And it's been a shootout at the OK Corral. I'm halfway through my scoring sheet here, and we're just starting the second quarter. So get your popcorn and continue to join us here.
Siege are playing with 4 defensive backs in this one. Usually you just have 2 corners and a safety, and then they have their 4 dudes, Serta, Nixon, Holmes, and Simons, all up front. Sorry, it took me a little bit to get there, but
it can't be
now
Simons.
playing with... No, that's usually who they have.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Obviously in this one, things are a little bit different, but using 4 defensive backs to try to cope with the speed as Gandy now set to blitz.
Trujillo's got some work to do. Shovel passes it, gives this one over to the left side there to Malik Wilson, and nothing doing. Defense all over there for the Siege.
That play was going nowhere from the start. The Siege defense blitzed perfectly into that call, had guys all over that toss. They used that a lot to pretty good success last week with Malik Wilson, but have not had any success running the ball against the Siege tonight.
Second down and 13 here for St. Joe. Ball sitting on the 5-yard line. Got a long ways to go, but Trujillo has a cannon. He's got Martinez left and underthrows his intended receiver. He had guys all over him. Pitbull and a pork chop rushing in there quickly was Bruno Canum.
Yeah, Nixon and Kanam both got in there, and then you had an open receiver and Dom Marshall who slipped out from the tight end position, but nobody home to receive that one.
Good to say Kanam's name out there. Haven't said it too much this year.
Yeah, he's only played in 2 games, but he's been around most of the year.
So now third down here. It's going to be second down. Oh, it is third down. Yeah, third down and 13. And whistle blown. It's going to be a delay game.
Yeah, so that'll back them up even further, and now the Siege defensive backs have even more comfortable position to play.
I have 8 penalties by St. Joe in the first half.
Okay, so they got the timeout off before the delay.
Take that back. There's 7 penalties. That was just a timeout called for them. So now who do you go who? If you're St. Joe here, I say you got to find a way to get it to Boo Smith's hands. Something, either Smith or Martinez have been your 2 dudes.
Yeah, those are your guys on the outside. They'll try to find one of them, but long ways to go here. So Green and Cunningham are going to have to come up big on the outside, and then Avarian Cole playing safety instead of corner. He'll have an important job to play here.
So A.D. Ely had 7 receptions last week as well with a touchdown, so don't rule him out either. He could have got a secret weapon for St. Joe. So now ball sitting here on the 5-yard line, 3rd and 13. Trujillo rolls right, gets a quick pass, and it is going to be received. Yep, and in there for Boo Smith.
And that's about as good of a job
Nice
as
job
you
for the
can
first
do
down.
on that one, as he's going to be just a little bit short, and they'll have a big decision to make on 4th down. They went for it in the same situation in the first quarter, didn't get it, and then the Siege ended up scoring, so we'll see what they do. Okay, so they will surrender. Nice job by Cunningham there. Knowing the down and distance, it was 3rd and 15. He didn't have to play all up in Boo Smith's business, so he just gave him a nice little cushion, and they ended up completing the pass, but Cunningham was able to make the tackle short of the line to gain and get ball back in the hands of the offense.
We talked about Siege having #1 defense in the league. They were a little shaky last week to get things going as they had a lot of penalties they gave up last week early, but battled back and showed, you can still give up penalties and have the #1 defense. Last week they were 11 penalties for 130 yards they gave up last week.
And Josh, I mentioned Reggie Patrick earlier to you. He is out there now. Both of the big guys on the offensive line should free up Vince Brown for a little more receiving.
Elijah Gray, nothing doing for him, trying to do the tornado move. Maybe a loss, too, on that one. St. Joe read that pretty good on defense. Haven't utilized Gray too much tonight. Been airing it out for Davis. And you've got your touchdowns to Dudley, touchdown to Dudley. Yates ran one in. Davis has 2 tonight.
Yeah, just Gray's third carry of the game. He had one really nice rush on the first drive of the game, but that one going nowhere, so we'll have to come up with something to make this short of third down here.
Ball on the 13. Siege rushing here. 11:26 left, plenty of time in the half. Yates rolling left, hard to throw across your body. He's got to get rid of it, and coughs it up out of bounds. And nice defense there by St. Joe. Celebrating Michael Reynolds. They call him the Gravedigger. He does the shovel move.
Yeah, so he did get the sack there. Mike Reynolds was not active last week, and that was a big reason why the Woo were able to have so much success offensively as they had, because Reynolds wasn't in there disrupting everything. And there he has made his presence known early and often, coming up with another sack, his 4th of the season.
So now you see what you can get going here if you're the Siege. 3rd down and 19, long ways to go. It's been a defensive battle thus far for both teams. Quick pass out to Vince Brown, and he is hammered into the wall at the 11-yard line. Still shy of the first down, though. And very good defense there played by St. Joe. Let's see if the ball's going to be surrendered here by Nebraska or not. No, it looks like they're going to go for it.
I'm sure they'll surrender this.
Think so? Yep, now they are. Yep. Yates coming out. So really good defense there by St. Joe to force the surrender. We had a very offensive-heavy first quarter, and now a very defensive-heavy second quarter to begin.
Yeah, 2 big stops as these coaches making adjustments. And now we'll see if they can string together consecutive stops for the first time in this game. And both of these teams, the Siege, on average per quarter allow about 8 points a game, and then the Goats, on the other hand, about 9. And 27-19, that was not what these teams expected the score to be at the end of the first quarter.
So now the Goats will take the ball over on the 15-yard line. The second possession here of the second quarter. Josh Sam and Luke McCarg with you here from the Big Iron Event Center in Grand Island, Nebraska. Happy to have you along. Quick pass to Boo Smith, runs up to the 20. Dodges his defender, gets down to about the 23-yard line. Boo Smith sees things that other people don't and does a nice job reading the defense. Did what he could on a little lateral move and got about an extra 3.
Yeah, and it's a nice rally by the Siege. Obviously, that's a great play by Boo Smith as making a Varian Cole lose his feet, but a nice job by the Siege rallying and limiting that to not as big of a gain as it could have been, although it does set up the Siege Goats in a very good position. Can't talk.
Malik Wilson came out limping on that play for the Goats. So
yeah, now Bruno
Canham's down too. The other side here. Looks like cramping perhaps for him, the way they're tending to him. So I'm hoping that's all it is.
Yeah, Bruno Canham only played in 2 games for the Siege this year, this being his second one.
We're inside, so it's not a weather thing. You see a lot of football outside with cramping.
Yeah, it can happen in any weather. I've seen it happen in cold games, hot games.
And so now
hopefully he'll be all right. The Siege.
Now I'm getting helped off, actually, so it's probably more than a cramp. Favoring that left leg.
That hurts a lot as they're already very short-handed in this one. The Siege only carry, I think, 19 players on their roster. I'll double-check that for you. 17 players active tonight for the Siege, so one injury goes a long way against the Siege.
So back here to action now. Ball on the 23-yard line. Going left to right are the Goats. Airing it out for Martinez. He stops, and the ball hits his defender. A nice defense there by the Siege. Keyshawn Cunningham, he didn't know the ball was coming, but he just stuck with his receiver, and that's textbook what you got to do.
Yeah, Keyshawn Cunningham, nice coverage there. I'm kind of surprised that I didn't draw a flag just because he didn't get his head around. But
I did see the hands at the end, yeah.
We've seen the officials let them play a couple times on both sides in the pass interference department.
So now 3rd down. This is where the Goats have struggled all year. Only 2 to go, though, on this one. Quick pass gets it out to the first down marker, and will be good. Nice play there on a quick little draw pass, and gets that one out to number 5. That's Martinez.
Yeah, and that's what happens when a guy like Martinez has 2 long touchdowns. The cushion increases on the other side, and that time Ryan Green just playing too far off of his receiver. Easy completion for a 3rd down conversion.
So now first down here, airs it out Trujillo and throwing that way out of bounds.
Well, that certainly should have been pass interference on the top of the screen, but I think it might have actually been a miscommunication on the outside. Martinez broke his route off at the sticks, and then
let's take a look at this one. Trujillo looking to go to Martinez this time.
Oh yeah, that definitely should have been pass interference.
Yep, that was Cole got away with something. Or excuse me, Green got away with something on that one. This time around the middle, and ball handed off to somebody we haven't said. It is Isaiah Alston getting the play and running out for another first down. Good job by Alston to get out there. Quick pass and a run for him.
Yeah, using the tight ends for the first time tonight. Alston got a lot of size out there.
Alston, a guy who can do some stuff. He can send out two receivers, one on either side. And gives this one to Boo Smith. Gets it to the 10. Spin move. Gets out to about the 7. Finally, Cole pushes him out of bounds there. So quick hurry-up offense here. And little routes for the Goats.
Once again, nice job of rally tackling there on Boo Smith. Big gain, though.
Ball in the 6. Trujillo rolls right. All kinds of time. Throws it in the end zone. Passes defender, bringing it in. And that is Alston right there for the touchdown. Defender all over him. Somehow he pulled that thing in. And, you know, the quarterback had a lot of time. So credit the offensive line there, as Trujillo had a lot of time to get rid of that ball.
Yeah, great catch by Alston. It was honestly good coverage by Size Gandy, but that ball couldn't have been placed in a better spot if he just went out and handed it to him. So great throw to make this 27-25 game.
So the first scoring of the second quarter goes to St. Joe. They go for the extra point, and they get it. It is good. And this one goes to Martinez. And again, we have a 2-point game. 27-25. Don't go anywhere. This has been a back-and-forth battle.
Yeah, the shootout continues as we have yet to see a team get consecutive stops on the defensive side. Now, Siege will have a chance to answer it here and extend their lead again, but boy, this could be an interesting one down the stretch.
Actually, it's a 1-point game. Take that back. I forgot to carry the 1 there on my math.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised the Goats didn't go for 2 on that one to try to tie the game, but it's too early in the game to be worried about scores like that, so I think just taking the point where they can get it.
So now let's see what they do if they just throw the ball to the receiver, throw it over his head for the touchback. I think they're probably going to do the touchback, but we'll see what happens. Davis back. We've seen him run one back tonight already. 7:30 left in this one. A very offensive-heavy first quarter and a very defensive-heavy second quarter, but the St. Joe scoring here with 7:30 left in the first half. Josh Salmon, Luke McCarg with you here from the Big Iron Event Center, Grand Island, Nebraska.
And that's a good sign for the Goats in that drive, too. It was their first sustained drive of the game. All of their offense in the first quarter came on 3 plays. 2 long passes to Martinez and 1 to Boo Smith. That was the first time they picked up multiple first downs and kind of inched the ball down the field.
Ja'Kalen Jackson to throw it off. Kevin Davis will receive the ball in the end zone. Got some work to do. Rolls out to the 5, to the 7, and it's going to be brought down right there about the 7 or 8 yard line. So not much doing. And Siege will have some work to do here to go on this possession. Very much. We knew this would be a good game. This is a little close for comfort for both teams, I think.
Yeah, unexpected how this one's played out so far. Last time, both teams were in the 40s, and this one I think it was 47-44 final score. But this one has the makings of blowing that one out of the water as far as total points goes.
These teams could see each other in the playoffs again down the road very soon. Playoffs will start officially August 1st. So one more regular season game after this week. And so now Malik Wilson makes his way back in. Good to see him back in there. He limped off the field earlier for St. Joe.
Yeah, primarily an offensive player. He's their leader in scrimmage yards on the year as a running back, bringing in 300 total yards. But then there's defensive back here,
and this play is going to be
flinched.
I think, yeah, might be offsides in Nebraska, actually.
I think Kevin Brown had the false start. Maybe that's where the Goats were pointing.
I don't have a...
Yeah, that's Vince Brown.
Yep. He's just a little too early to take off in the sprint, and that's the right call. That's the first penalty I have unofficially for Nebraska in the first half. They've gone away with a couple, we'll say that. At least one. So Back it up a little bit. This one goes to the 4-yard line. A lot of work to do here for Nebraska, looking for their first score of the second quarter. Only leading by 1 now. Going to be passed wide open for Dudley. Receives it at the 19. Takes it in for the 6. Daquan Dudley takes it in for the Nebraska Siege.
Yeah, that was a great route by Daquan Dudley. Just gave his defender a little bit of a shake at the top of his route. It was enough to get him open. Way burned James Petrie in that one, who's played well in this one, but Daquan Dudley picking up his second touchdown of the game in a big spot.
But a 43-yard play, if you will. And this is Dudley. It's his second touchdown. He scored the first one of the night for either team back in the first quarter. And now they're going to go for 1 here in Nebraska. Needed that score as Goats were getting a little closer. Extra points can be crucial tonight. Both teams have done pretty good on extra points. Yates looking for a man. Jogs, has defenders all over him. Rolls right. He's pretty quick. He needs to get rid of the ball. Does. And no, it's going to be picked off by St. Joe. It doesn't matter. Extra point doesn't count. 33-26 is our score. So St. Joe will get the ball back, but boy, I like Dudley getting wide open on that play. He juked his receiver and got wide open.
Yeah, a little double move at the top of his route there. Just was enough to get over James Petrie, and not even close on that one, as we've seen several receivers wide open down the field in this game on both sides. Not a great game to watch if you're a fan of defensive backs running with receivers.
Nice to see them utilize Dudley. You mentioned just 2 games on the season for him as a Nebraska Siege, and boy, they've really utilized him. They've done Davis. We said that Vince Brown had 4 touchdowns last week, so teams will be watching him a little tighter. He's got a little bit more coverage on him. They've been throwing it. We haven't seen a whole lot of running tonight from Nebraska. It's been a lot of air assault from the Siege.
Yeah, Daquan Dudley, his 3rd game with the Siege. He hasn't done a whole lot in his first few games, somewhere around 5 catches, 1 touchdown, but he's been really good in this one, already bringing in 2 touchdowns to shatter his previous contributions. He was the 1A for the Omaha Beef in a receiving duo there, so obviously a capable arena receiver, and now showing what he can do early in this first half with the Siege.
Songy Yates back to throw, and they just let it go. No one bounces at the 7. He goes out of bounds, and so they'll take the touchback. Boo Smith, and I'm not getting bothered with that thing.
Yeah, not much urgency trying to go get that one.
So 5:47 left here in the first half. Siege 36 and Goats 26. Fun game here tonight. These 2 teams matched up. Siege still the only undefeated team in the league in either division. The 6-0 record, 4-2. For St. Joe's. One of those losses came to Nebraska earlier this year. And last week, of course, they lost as well to Iowa, who's playing really well. Really good football right now. Nebraska will travel to Iowa next week. Trujillo back to throw. Gets this one out to about the 4-yard line, and that's where he's going to be tackled there. This is Dom Marshall. Dom Marshall, a teammate of Yates back in college.
Yeah, the 2 of them both played at Lenore-Rhine. Division II level, both had successful careers there. Songy Yates, a little bit more production, but obviously both great players as he split out at a receiver there, and great coverage by Cunningham, mirroring him all the way for no gain.
So man in motion, rolls right, and Trujillo had a guy all over him. Still got the throw off, and again it goes to Marshall for the first down at the 15-yard line. So nice throw there by Trujillo with people caving in on him.
Yeah, they're Isaiah Nixon able to run him down to make the tackle, but easy first down completion to a wide open receiver for the Goats.
Goats not kidding around here in the second quarter. See what they did there?
Oh, yeah. Kid.
Ball at the 15. Trujillo looking for throwing. Little screen pass gives that one out to Boo Smith, out to the 20, to about the 17. And Boo Smith taking another first down, a couple in a row here for St. Joe. They've done a nice job on the first downs tonight.
Yeah, Boo Smith getting the screen pass there and then just doing what he does in space. He's athletic out there, but that time easy. Nobody was guarding him after they cleared out with the deep routes.
Rolling right, Trujillo's looking for the end zone. Boo Smith brings it in and over the wall. Texas it for the touchdown, and he hits the ground hard. That's just concrete on the other side there. He is still trying to get up, tosses the ball and says, I'm good.
Yeah, great job by Varian Cole just sticking with it there. He lost his receiver for a second, but able to shove him over the wall and force the incompletion as
was no good.
Central City mate Grant Blodgett watches in surprise.
No good on that.
one.
Thought maybe he came up with the ball, but
Yeah, he must have dropped it on the other side of the wall.
so you have to hold on to it. I think that's what the coach is saying. He says
Yeah.
he went over the ball with
so you don't have to have a foot in bounds. If you hit the wall, it's a catch, but you have to maintain possession over the wall, and there he just wasn't able to secure it on the other side.
So now going to try it again. Trujillo airs it out this time, overthrows his receiver, and nothing doing there. And getting close to that ball actually was Isaias Gandy. He almost got a hand on it for the siege.
Yeah, Gandy had a chance there on that one, but wasn't able to come away with the interception. But still, tough situation in 3rd and long now for Goats.
Fantastic crowd here tonight in the Big Iron Event Center in Grand Island, Nebraska. I'm Josh Salmon along with Luke McCard. We appreciate you spending your Saturday evening with us here for some great indoor football. It's hot outside, but the weather inside is cool. 98 degrees today here in Grand Island. About the same in St. Joe. Rolls left and getting out of that one. A little bit of play there for Malik Wilson. He's still going. Goes left, goes back to the right to the 15, down to the 14. What a nice job there by Malik Wilson. If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah, he made something out of nothing there. There was not anything going on the original play design for the Goats, but Wilson just doing what these Goats receivers do all the time, and that's just find creases in the defense and run after the catch.
4th down and 4. Goats going for it here. Going to send in man on the right side is Marshall. Receiver on the left as well. And it looks like it's Ailey. No, it's actually Martinez. Throws it up the middle, going for his receiver, and can't quite get it. Took his eyes off of it for a moment, was Marshall, and no good. Nice defense by the Siege.
Yeah, Cunningham was in his hip pocket the entire route until the very end when Marshall broke free, but then just right over his hands there. That's all on Dom Marshall.
Great camera angle there by our crew as well. That's a great shot. So Siege will get the ball back, leading this one 33-26. What a great defensive stop. You have the Goats come out and score first in the second quarter. Siege answer right back in a couple of plays. Hold them on defense. If you're Nebraska, you got to hold them here, or you got to score here. If you're the Goats, show that defense. You're number 3 in the league in defense. Receiver out to the right side. A handoff to Davis. He rolls right. No, Yates keeps it himself. Fooled me on that one and gets about 2 on that one.
Yeah, they're just option play with Davis coming in motion, and Yates elects to keep it.
Joko Willis
pick up a short yardage.
Joko Willis on the tackle there. And a timeout here on the field.
Go on to the 2-minute.
2-minute warning. 33-26 here from the Big Iron Event Center. We'll try to get some scores in some of the other games and stuff coming up at halftime. We'll take a break and come back. You're watching the Arena League football from Grand Island, Nebraska on the Arena League Network. Welcome back to Grand Island, Nebraska. Josh, Sam, and Luke McCarg with you. Siege lead this one 33-26. And we're going to have second down and 8 here as we had a 2-minute warning time out there before we go to halftime. Come to halftime a little bit later, Luke. We'll see if we can find some scores around the league. I know the Diamonds have a big game going on tonight.
Yeah, a couple big ones around Monroe and Memphis, the game of the week. Both teams 3-3 fighting for a playoff spot. A couple of expansion teams. And we might have a challenge on the field.
Looking at a challenge here on the last play. I think the challenge ref has been fantastic this year. He's been really good.
Yeah, they've done a nice job on all of those. So 2 minutes here. Have a chance to take a 2-score lead into halftime if you play your cards right in this one.
So we'll see what happens here as St. Joe's challenging this play. Oh, I'm saying he ran out of the lane now.
Yes, they had an option play with Yates and Davis coming out there, and Yates just a little bit too far outside of the extended hashes this week, but even with the bigger run lane, that was still outside of it.
Yep, you got to stay in that lane, and so referee crew all over it, so now the ball backs up about the 5. That's some work to do here now. It's 2nd and 8. Yates back to throw. Has time, gets it out to Brown, just overthrows him just a little bit. Vince Brown is pretty quick and has long arms, but that one just thrown a little too hard.
Yeah, he had him wide open there in the middle of the field. He beat his guy, but just too much on that one.
It was kind of weird, too, because running in on defense for St. Joe was James Petrie, and he didn't even rush the quarterback. He kind of got past the line of scrimmage and just kind of danced around a little bit instead of going right after Yates. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, maybe his athleticism coming into play a little bit there on how they attacked him as they'll reset.
Man in motion is Dudley. He's got 2 touchdowns tonight. Yates looks for him, and it's going to be a little underthrown this time. So you go from overthrown to underthrown now, and this time pressure in his face. Nice job to get in there for defense for Joko Willis.
Yeah, and the open receiver there, Joko Willis, completely whiffed on his reroute there of Daquan Dudley. Dudley open on that one, but Yates with pressure in his face, just not able to make that throw.
So Nebraska in the red zone. Last week they were 2 of 5, 40% in the red zone. Got some work to do from the 5-yard line. We've seen some really big plays tonight on both halves of the ball. Yates gets it, has time to throw. Got defense just kind of throws up a prayer. Who's going to get it? And nobody gets that one. Well, you had 2 James St. Joseph guys running into each other. That could have been really bad.
Yeah, that was really dangerous. Petrie and Bradley both had easy opportunities at an interception there, but the problem is both of them wanted it, and then neither of them ended up able to bring that one in.
That's kind of like an infielder going for a pop fly. You got to call it. I got it. But it's a loose ball. You're just trying to keep Nebraska from getting it. So not a very good set of downs there for the red and whites.
Yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity there to go up 2 scores. And now the Goats, on the other hand, have a chance to answer and potentially tie this game going into half. Down 7 currently.
Yeah, they have not led all night. So if they can tie it, momentum might be on the side of the blue and white right now. Let's see what Siege can do on defense. They had a very good defensive output a moment ago.
Cunningham playing tight on Boo Smith at the top of the screen.
Goes out to the top. That's Martinez. Takes it out for about 4 or 5. So they spot it. Looks like it's going to be about 4. It is. So Martinez starts in the backfield. He'll be rushing out. You have Boo Smith, the man in motion across the field. And going to be offsides this time. Martinez getting out there a little too early.
Yeah, Angelo Trujillo back under center for the first time in a few games. Maybe just a little bit of a missed time.
So penalties have been a little less here in the second quarter for St. Joe. They had 7, that's going to be 6 in the first half or 7. And now they only have a couple here in the second quarter.
Yeah, they've shifted a little bit. They've kind of slowed the game down a bit, taking more short routes as the Siege have adjusted, trying not to get beat over the top.
Trujillo has all kinds of time, throws it out, and underthrows his receiver. Just trying to get rid of it, sidearms it with defense rushing in on him, and nothing doing there. Nice job as Siege to get in there on defense. And that was Holmes.
Yeah, Trujillo has struggled at times when he's had pressure in his face, just kind of airmailing his guys, and no different there as big 3rd down now. after that incompletion.
We talked about the continued struggles third down here for St. Joe. It's been their struggle all year long. Let's see if they can capitalize here. Need to get some field position. And, that one almost picked off. Green just about got a hand on that one. Intended for Smith, but completely overthrew him.
Yeah, Reed Green had a chance at that one. Missed his standout wide receiver on that one. And lucky that one wasn't picked.
So going to surrender it and turn over downs. And again, the Siege defense provides what they needed after the offense didn't.
And Josh, not very many ticks off the clock on that one either, with a lot of incompletions and the penalty. So now plenty of time here to come and score and extend that lead again, like we talked about earlier.
Very quick route for Nebraska, very quick downs there, and that's what they needed. So let's see what happens here with Nebraska. Got some work to do. Looks like they're going to start here in about the 15.
And Josh, the completion percentage hasn't been super high here for Yates. He's made some big throws in big spots, but he's only completed somewhere around 5 passes of the night.
Yeah, he had a good completion percentage last week, 72%. 18 of 25. It's not going to be quite that high tonight. Ooh, wobbly throw. Gets that one out to Davis around the end zone, and they're going to say he went out of bounds. Pushed out of bounds just at the 10. Ooh, that could have been a big play for Kevin Davis.
Yeah, Joko Willis saved the touchdown on that one, but that's a great job by Kevin Davis, just snapping off the route in the soft spot in the zone, and then Yates able to connect on the throw. Lorfil's there.
So I like the going back to Davis. You've seen Dudley and Davis. Dudley lines up as the wide receiver. Slot receiver here is going to be Davis. He's man in motion. They hand off to Gray this time. Or excuse me, to Hampton up the middle, and he goes out to about the 6, started losing his footing. He fell down about the 4-yard line. So a little trickery there, if you will, for Nebraska Siege. And a handoff.
They haven't run it that much. They have 7 rushing attempts, which is probably a little bit above average for the league, but they've been successful when they've tried to do it. A couple times Gray's gotten stuffed, but they've caught him sleeping a little bit where the pass rushers get too far up the field, and then that opens up wide open run lanes.
So bull rolls right this time. It is Elijah Gray who came in to play late on that one and didn't look like it was ready to go. So as he was running out there, I think they looked a little out of sorts, and Vince Brown trying to direct traffic as one of the leaders on the field. So I don't think Nebraska knew exactly what was going to happen there. Gray kind of got the ball and didn't get to do much. 36 seconds left here in the half. Siege leading, would like to get one more in and increase his lead to half. They have to do it here with third down. Davis in motion, fake handoff to Gray. Yates, lots of time to throw, all kinds of time. People are telling him to run, but he can't run. He's not in the lane. On the outside, he's got to run lateral. Dodges another defender, throws it into the end zone, has time, and gets it in. Daquan Dudley for the third one, and Yates, all kinds of time there to get rid of the ball, and does a nice job getting it to Dudley for the third time tonight.
Yeah, the Ghosts just dropped everybody back in coverage there, and nobody was open on their initial concepts, but Yates just doing what he does best, just extending the play and waiting for somebody to get open, and then Daquan Dudley is that guy able to find a crease and getting his third touchdown of the game.
That one with 12 seconds
all year long
left in the clock, and Yates making the spaghetti noodle route to get rid of that one, but open was Dudley, so now they're going to go for one again. Sends a man in motion. Yates claps his hands, rolls right, and low throw, no good there on the extra point, but it is 39 now to 26 with just 10 seconds left here in the first half.
Yeah, that's best case scenario for the Siege, Josh, as they took over with 132. They're able to lead a scoring drive, but also take a lot of time off the clock. So they give the ball back to the Goats with only 10 seconds, not much of a chance to put a drive together. So they'll just have to hold solid for 1 or 2 plays, and then they can go into halftime with a 2-score lead, which you will take all day long, any day of the week, against a quality team like the St. Joseph Goats.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen a couple good defensive bouts that really set that up for me. You got the 2 scoring drives. It was the defense holding the Goats to not much in this half, this quarter, and that really set up the offense to do something, and give them opportunities.
Yeah, this is the kind of game I expected the first time these two teams met, but the Siege defense ended up playing really well with their back against the wall, coming up with several key red zone stops to keep the Siege in it. But this time, the Goats have been able to convert on a lot of passes down the field, as they have all season long, with Angelo Trujillo at quarterback. able to connect on more of those.
Yates back to throw. To his counterpart with the number 1. Boo Smith lets that one go, and then we have the touchback here. No time off the clock on that one. So at 10 seconds, you wait. I think Trujillo's going to go a big play. The question is he going to go to Martinez? Is he going to go to Smith? Is he going to go to Ely? I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to fall asleep on this one here. It's a tough ask for the Goats to try to score here with 10 seconds, but obviously they have the speed on the outside to do so. So the Siege just have to not lose their minds here and make quality tackles in space.
So here we go. Let's see what St. Joe can do. Very capable of big plays. Trujillo's had a lot of time to get rid of the ball tonight. He's got 10 seconds on the clock, so goes to Martinez, and he runs to about the 12 and then puts the ball out of bounds. So only 4 seconds off the clock. A nice little slant route.
Just making it a little bit easier for them to get the ball down the field if they want to do so, but they also don't want to throw a pick and potentially gift the Siege another 6 before halftime.
Trujillo looking to throw, airs it out, going for his man. That's Marshall, picks it in for the touchdown. The big play they needed. He's the one guy I didn't name, and they went to him.
Yeah, that's just bad defense by the Siege. They knew that the Goats needed to go for it all there, and then the Siege DBs all caught in their back pedal. Nobody turned to flip their hips as Varian Cole just playing over the top of that. Needs to get over in coverage, and then Keyshawn Cunningham just letting Dom Marshall run right by him. So that's poor defense by the Siege and a missed opportunity to go into half up 2 scores.
Yeah, they're going to go for 2 here. Back to throw. Trujillo rolling right. Got 2 defenders. Can't get it to go. Hits off his defender's leg, and that's where we'll go to halftime. 39-32. The Siege lead it here in the second quarter. But a really big play there by St. Joe Goats to going to Dom Marshall to get it in the end zone for his first scoring of the night. Look at some of the plays. Some kids getting the ball. That's what it's all about right there. Kids getting the ball. Smith running one around. Defense 39-32. Our score here. We'll take a break and come back here. This is the Arena League football from Grand Island, Nebraska. Come back with us.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
Garage beer saved my life. It was 30 years ago today.
A lot of predators in this jungle.
Almost done.
Come on, man. Let's get it.
Welcome back to Grand Island, Nebraska, the Big Iron Event Center. Josh Sam and Luke McCarg with you as Siege lead this one 39-32. But some really good plays there, some touchdowns. Got Daquan Dudley for his second of the night. Takes that one in for the Siege and gets the extra point. A really good job there for Dudley. So for now, for battling back here for the Goats gives that one out to Marshall to end it there. So big play there at the end for the St. Joe Goats. And Luke, you talked about it. You can't be lackadaisical on defense for Siege, and they were.
Yeah, they've done it all night long. The St. Joseph Goats doing exactly what we knew they could do. They can run, and they've ran by Siege defensive backs for several long touchdowns, but luckily the offense has kept them in it. Kevin Davis has come up with 2 big touchdowns. Daquan Dudley, somebody who wasn't necessarily on everybody's radar going into the game, he's brought in 3 touchdowns tonight. So those receivers have done a great job of coming in and filling the role that Songa Yates left at wide receiver.
We'll take a look at some of the halftime highlights coming in from the first half. The Siege scored 4 touchdowns in the first quarter, and the Goats had 3. It was 2-2 in the second half. Here's some of the highlights now. Going underneath for the Dudley there for the touchdown and getting that one in. And now you're going to run it, and Yates says, hey, I'll keep it myself. So now you're coming back here. This will be going out to Martinez for his first. Ryan takes that one in, dragging a receiver. Then you go out to Boo Smith. Big throw there. That one getting it in. Boo Smith, that's 40-yard pass. And in there for the St. Joe Goats. And on the kickoff, Kevin Davis takes it himself, says, oh, yeah, let's take this thing all the way back. Runs it in for 6 himself. It's only touchdown of the night for Davis, but it's a crucial one in that first half. Coming back now with the Goats, going to air this one out. Gives it over to Martinez for his second touchdown. Wide open that time. He decides, I'm just going to walk it in. A little day in the park here. But answering back here is going to be Songa Yates. Throws that one out. Take it back. Kevin Davis does bring this one in. That's the second touchdown of the night. I misspoke earlier. Gets that one in. Here come back the Goats, though, and gets it in. Unbelievable catch there from Alston to begin the second quarter. Siege weren't done. Gets it out to Dudley. Daquan taking it the distance, getting it in there for another touchdown for him. That's his second of the night. Oh, they're not done. Yates looking for Dudley again. Says, where's my man? I'm going to roll right. And I'm going to roll left. Now he cuts back across the field. Tries to get this one out. Does. Out to Dudley, who's wide open. All kinds of time there for Yates, who's looking really comfortable back in the pocket. But right before the end of the half, here comes Marshall. Don Marshall pulls it in against his former teammate, Yates. They went together to college together, and that's where we're sitting right now. 39-32 Siege. It's a shootout at the OK Corral.
Yeah, a couple scores from around the league as we watch this one. Arkansas on upset alert. I'll get to that later, though, as we see some of the stats. I mentioned a little bit, Yates has not completed as high of a percentage of his passes as he has in the past, but he's made a couple really big throws down the field, and that's important. And then just the Goats have obviously been a lot more proficient in the passing game in this one, but the Siege happy to be up 6.
Well, look at this game. There's only 42 rushing yards in this whole game for both teams. So it's been definitely a shootout, as we said. A lot of balls in the air tonight. Just 38 yards for the Siege on the ground and just 4 for the Goats. So kind of crazy there how it's been going. You got some scores from around the league?
Yeah, so the big one right now, Arkansas on upset alert. They've only lost 1 game all year long. It was to the St. Joseph Goats. They're currently in first place on the other side of the league, but Ozarks, who's only won 1 game all year, is up 44-6
wow.
at halftime in that one. In the game of the week, Monroe and Memphis. Monroe up 27-6 at halftime over Memphis, and then Iowa up 42-18 big time in Eau Claire right now.
So again, look at the passing yards here. 236 for the Goats. They have a better completion. They've passed more touchdowns, but they've ran for less yards and completed more first downs. So you look at that, they should be leading the game, but they're not. The penalties hurt them in the first half. They had at least 8 penalties in the first half for the Goats to the 2 of Nebraska. And so they obviously cleaned that up in the second quarter. And you said that's a lot to kind of changing the formation a little bit in offense.
Yeah, that's been a big factor in this one. And also field position has been huge. The kick returns have been on point for the Siege. They've had several great returns. Obviously, the main one being Kevin Davis's touchdown return, which is the difference in this one. The Siege up 6, but then also setting up the team in short fields. They haven't had to go as far, so that's why they've been able to punch it in as much as they have. And then also St. Joseph going for it on 4th down, ended up turning it over at the 15-yard line, and then the Siege were able to punch that in with a couple of rush plays.
You know, I was counting here. There's 6 touchdowns in this game over 40 yards. So it's been a lot of throwing in this game and no interceptions, which is kind of interesting. There's been a couple that have been really close. There's been a couple pass interference calls, but a pretty fun game by a couple of teams that are really, really good in this league and have very good competitors across the board.
Yeah, the game's going to come down to which team's defensive backs are going to step up and make plays down the stretch here. This game has already far surpassed what we expected to scoring-wise compared to what it was last time, 47-44. A lot more of a low-scoring affair, although both of those scores are above league average. So which team's going to step up and which quarterback's going to make the throws? Trujillo has done so early in this game. He's made a lot more throws than Salgi Yates has, but still fortunate to be out for the Siege.
Yeah, just a really fun crowd here tonight at the Big Iron Event Center in Grand Island. Probably the biggest crowd we've seen all night. When the season started, there was some competition because you had the Omaha was going on with the Women's World Series, and then you had, Banana Ball was going on, and there's been some conflicting events, but a great crowd here last time and a great crowd here tonight, and they're making a lot of loud noise. People making some trip up here from St. Joe as well. Good to see some blue in the audience.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch this fan base grow as the Siege have really taken off, advancing to the 6-0 start. It's gained a lot of traction really fast. Most people did not know who the Siege were early in the season, but they've picked up steam, and now doing what they do on the field has drawn a lot more attention to them.
We talked about the roster difference from the last time. Both these teams have changed rosters from the last time they met up. A couple guys, and that's what the nature of this beast of this league is. But, so you can watch your film all you want, but it's hard to gauge how some of these guys are going to be, and you just adjust on game day, and these guys are all pro athletes and do that very well.
Yeah, the Goats down a few defensive backs from there early in the season. Weathersby was an important player for them. He's not active tonight. Ja'Kalen Jackson has not been in on defense at all. He was one of the best players in the Arena League last year playing for Ozarks, and he has not been out there. So they're doing the best they can with what they've got, but really missing some of those guys on the defensive end, and then same thing for the Siege.
Well, they're happy to have Angelo Trujillo back. No shade to Robert McCoy. He did a nice job as quarterback as well, but Trujillo's been their guy earlier in the year, and just nice to have him back. And he's had a lot of time to throw the ball. He's got a cannon for an arm. It's unbelievable. Some throws he can connect. We've seen some fantastic plays on both sides. Just unbelievable one-hand catches these guys are pulling in. They're feeling the adrenaline. We're feeling the adrenaline. It's a really good football game in the first half here. Siege lead just by 7. If you look back at some of the penalties, this could be a much easier game. Goats could easily have this lead if they didn't hurt themselves in that first quarter.
Well, yeah, they've been much more efficient on offense than the Siege have, but it's been penalties and it's been field position in this one. That's the big difference in the game.
So last week the Siege got dinged for some penalties with 11 for 130 yards, but last week for St. Joe it was 10 penalties for just 60 yards. So Siege trying to move on to 7-0. They will take on Iowa next week on the road to wrap up the regular season. They're guaranteed a playoff spot, but if they win either tonight or next week, they're guaranteed to host the first game of the playoffs. So that would be a huge experience here at the Big Iron Event Center.
Yeah, playoffs starting on August 1st. There'll be 2 playoff games, so the league is split into 2 sides. On one side, you have St. Joseph, Nebraska, Eau Claire, and Iowa. And then on the other side, you've got Arkansas, Memphis, Monroe, and Ozarks. So 2 teams make it from either of those sides. They'll play off in the semifinals, and the winners of both sides will collide in the championship game. So the Siege and the Goats, the front runners to be the representatives from their side of the league. And then currently on the other side, you have Arkansas, who only has 1 loss, and then Monroe and Memphis battling right now, both teams 3-3. Monroe has the edge at the moment, but with Arkansas losing, it's really anybody's game between those 3 teams to make the playoffs.
So make sure you guys get on. If you miss part of this game, you can go back and watch it as they post the game almost immediately afterwards and see that first half. It was a pretty crazy back-and-forth battle in the first half as we're sitting 39-32 here in the first half. What will happen second half? I don't know. It's been a very offensive game. We saw some better defense in the second quarter, but both these teams talking some things over, some things they're going to work on. St. Joseph really cleaned up their penalties, and we'll see what happens here with both teams as they come back. This is anybody's game. Goats looking for their first lead of the night. Siege looking to maintain the lead. They only have by 7. We've had a 1-point game here earlier going into the second quarter, so it's very much anybody's game. We'll take a break and come back here as it's 39-32. Nebraska leading over St. Joe. Second half action coming back from the Big Iron Events Center here in Grand Island, Nebraska. Josh Sam and Luke McCarg with you on the Arena League. Welcome back to the Big Iron Events Center in Grand Island, Nebraska. Josh Sam and Luke McCarg along with you as we have a 39-32 Nebraska lead. They've led the entire game. And keys for St. Joe, and then we'll look at keys for Nebraska. For me, for St. Joe, I think they just need to keep the penalties down, which they did pretty good in the second quarter, and utilize some more receivers. You know, Martinez is getting covered pretty good. Boo Smith is getting pretty good. They did air one out earlier to Marshall for the touchdown at the end. Look at him. They also got Alston. You can get one, too. So just maybe mix it up a little bit on offense. What's the keys for Nebraska, Luke?
Yeah, it all comes down to the defensive backs at the end of the day. Keyshawn Cunningham, Rian Green, drawing tough assignments with having to keep up with Martinez and Marshall and Boo Smith. Obviously, all three of those guys very good for the Goats, and they can all run really well, and they have to keep up with them at the end of the day. But to help out with that would be sending pressure. The Isaiah Nixon and Jaleel Holmes, really important for them on the defensive side of the ball. They haven't been getting after the quarterback quite as much as they have in the past, and part of that is because they're missing Simons and Serta, but maybe if they can send a little bit more pressure in the second half, it can take a little bit of pressure off of the defensive backs. And then Songi Yates, he's got to make the throws down in the, when it comes to the big moments, and that's going to be what we have to watch here. He's come down back to earth a little bit. He's been so phenomenally good in the first couple games in his tenure as a quarterback, but now coming back down to earth, he's going to have to come up with some big throws.
Yeah, we've seen him overthrow some wide open guys. We've seen him underthrow some guys in some big plays. This could be a much different score if he completes some of those passes. And again, for St. Joe, if they wouldn't hurt themselves with penalties in that first quarter, they could have the lead in this one. Anybody's game here second half as we get ready for the throw-off on this one. St. Joe and Nebraska. Nebraska just has to win either tonight or next week to solidify a playoff game here at the Big Iron Events Center in Grand Island. Again, Josh Sam and Luke McCarg along with you here. Appreciate you spending your Saturday night with us. If you're from St. Joe, how's it going out there? All right. We get set for the second half here, and corner boys seem a little less tonight. Where are the corner boys at tonight here?
Well, the Goats were pushing back a little bit. You saw Marshall bring in that touchdown and then immediately run over and give the ball to the corner boys.
There you go. Yates throws that one, and they just let it go. So Boo Smith says, no, we'll take the touchback. Get some good field position. Probably a smart play. We've seen Vince Brown doing some throw-offs earlier in the game. So St. Joe will start with the ball here to begin the second half. See who they got a lot of weapons on this St. Joe team. This Goats team, they came in number 1 offense in the league. Siege number 2. Siege number 1 on defense, and Goats number 3. So very, very fun game here tonight in Grand Island, Nebraska.
Yeah, if you were just tuning into the game, you would not believe that the Siege have the number 1 defense and the Goats have the 3rd best defense in the league. But that just goes to show how good these two offenses are.
Yeah, corner boys making some noise over there. Airing this one out. It's wide open as Boo Smith receives it at the 25, and he has gone to the races. Boo Smith for St. Joe. A nice pass to Trujillo. He kind of stopped for a second, waited for the ball to get into his hand, and then took off to the races.
That's just another busted coverage, miscommunication there. The middle third of the field was guarded by nobody, as they should have had a safety home there, and then just not something that happened for them. And Boo Smith giving the Goats a chance to take their first lead of the game.
Yeah, really good play there on that one, and Boo Smith takes it in just for his second touchdown. He had one back in the first quarter. Going to go for 2. Airs it out and can't get it to go. Nice defense applied by 2 different guys for the Siege.
So the Goats able to keep their lead now, but it's back to being that 1-score game. It's going to be a nail-biter.
Yeah, just a 1-point lead here by the Siege, and they've led the entire game, but a really good play there to begin. Trujillo showing that cannon we talked about at halftime and getting that one out to Boo Smith. And, you know, I thought maybe they'd mix it up a little bit, but he was wide open. Could have set up a picnic and had a lunch.
Yeah, that's something that the Siege can't afford right now. It's tough enough job to guard these guys one-on-one, but if you can't communicate, you can't run zone coverage. If you can't run zone coverage, it's a big ask to get those guys to run with the Goats defenders on the outside.
I didn't think I'd have to look for another scoring sheet in my book here, but man, to just flip it over. So back to receive here is going to be Kevin Davis. Throwing this one off is going to be Jackson, who's done the majority of throw-offs tonight.
Kalen Jackson played for the Ozarks Lunkers last year. Was one of the best defensive backs in the league. He's been banged up this year. Hasn't played on defense yet.
Davis will receive it. Takes it around the left, up to the 4, to the 5, spins out to about the 6, 7. He's pulling the receiver, gets out of it, gets out to the 10, thrown down about the 11-yard line. So he got out of one tackle, got back to a couple of yards, and Davis gets it out to the 10.
And just keeping those legs churning. Kevin Davis, remember, was a running back in college at Miami of Ohio. He had a very good career with the Red Hawks, but transitioning to receiver here for the Siege, you would never know that he didn't play receiver all of his life with how he runs his routes and catches the ball. But it is an important thing to remember, and there you saw him turning the legs like a true running back on that return.
So, see what Yates can do here. He starts with Elijah Gray to his left, sends out 2 receivers, 1 in motion. That's Davis. Dudley as well, does give it off, fakes it out to Gray, gives out to Vince Brown to the 20, to the 15. There's going to be a flag on this one. This could be a pass interference call.
Yeah, the question is it going to be OPI or on the defense, as both guys were pushing off of each other. That's Vince Brown bringing in a contested catch. That is what he does. He's done it all year long. He's 6'6", got a big catch radius, and he's got great hands to go with it, although he's a little banged up now after this one.
I like to fake up the middle. I thought Gray had it there for a minute. They fooled me, which isn't terribly hard. Ooh, this is going against the Goats. That's going to be big. I talked about the penalties for them in the first half. You can't start the second half with a penalty, especially a big one like that.
Yeah, definitely getting a little bit of a tug at the top of the jersey there. Brown was pushing off a little bit, but that's going to be Amir Anderson with the tug coming over to the push.
So we'll take it here at the 12-yard line.
Here, the middle of the field open. They might go back to Brown again.
He's got to hurry. Yates gets it out. Wide open in there for the touchdown. This one is going to be the man, David Brown. Talked about him in the pregame. Really haven't utilized him much. Good to have him back. He's been injured.
Yeah, there was. I said the middle of the field was open. They ended up going to David Brown instead of Vince Brown. But the Goats were pinning their ears back. They wanted to get after the quarterback. And when you send pressure, it opens up the tight ends as a relief valve. And there was David Brown finding that soft spot in the defense for a Siege touchdown to get up 45-38.
Just his 4th reception of the year and his 3rd touchdown. So it came at a good time for the Siege, utilizing a different receiver on this one. And give that one a little 7-yard toss now. He's going to go for the extra 1 here. And we have a flag on the play here. It's going to be a false start against the Nebraska Siege.
And Josh, the conversions are going to come up to be a very important part of this game. The Siege have converted 3 times on their extra points. The Goats only twice. So it's going to be an interesting storyline to watch as we keep going.
Yeah, penalty there for Nebraska. So we're tied at 1 penalty apiece here in the second half. Nebraska only had 2 in the first half. So now you're going to take it from the 10. Now they're going to go for 2. Right? Well, it goes back. So it's still going to be 1, right? But it just goes from the 10.
Different package. Watch Vince Brown at the top of your screen. He's usually lined up in the box as a tight end. They're probably going to look to him.
Brown in motion again. Let's see who goes to. Yates has lots of time. Throws it high. Intended for David Brown, but just overthrows him. So the extra point no good this time. 45-38 Siege lead. Very good that they answered back quickly after St. Joe came out and fired the pistol to get the first points in their first possession. So now let's see what St. Joe does.
Yeah, both these teams just answering each other's blows, not getting intimidated. The offenses are doing a nice job not getting frustrated with the defense on the other side of things. Both units cannot turn against each other, and the Siege defense has had the back of the offense when they've struggled, and now the offense having the defense is back when they're not at the top of their game.
I do want to thank both coaches, always cordial before the game and after the game. Went down to the locker room before the game for St. Joe, and coaches were more than happy to text me their lineup and answer any questions we had. And so every team seems to do that this year. We appreciate that. Now back to throw here is going to be Songa Yates, 45-38 Siege lead. And Boo Smith will let this one go again. Gets better field position that time.
Boo Smith has not been super aggressive going out for the kick returns to try to get the ones that are not down the middle, but he has been effective when he's returned.
So we'll see what they can do. They came out with a bullet on the first drive to Boo Smith to get a big touchdown. They gave it 38 yards unofficially on that play. Goats still have not had the lead tonight. They've gone within one a couple of different times. They've had opportunities.
See, sticking with their 3 front and 4 defensive backs here in the second half. Very cool now walking up.
Up the middle, this one goes to Alston, looks like.
With the style of defense that they're playing, the safeties have a lot of responsibility to guard those tight ends when they do slip out. So nice job by Esias Gandy, triggering hard to limit that to a short game.
Hurry up offense here for St. Joe. Trujillo back to throw. He's got pressure on him and can't get rid of the ball. Gets nice defense there. 2 guys rushing in for the Siege. Leading the way there was Jaleel Holmes.
Also, Holmes, we haven't said his name as much today, but he is a very important player for the Siege. He's got 4 sacks and an interception on the season. He makes plays, and they're getting his name involved in the game.
No Jason Serta tonight. He should be back next week, but defense has done a nice job without him tonight. I'm sure he's leading from the sidelines, yelling some stuff out there. Back to throw is Trujillo, airs it out. No good. His receiver had no idea it was coming to him. That was Alston. He looks back like, oh, that was for me.
Yeah, nice defense by Esias Gandy there in his hip pocket the entire way. And he's done a nice job in his first game with the Siege. You've seen a few defensive backs come in and struggle a little bit, but Gandy hitting the league with stride.
So Siege defense, we talked about it. Trying to get the crowd going into it here is Hogan. And excuse me, that is Reggie Patrick out there trying to get the crowd going into it.
Yeah, he was in there on that possession defensively. He has not played on defense really at all this year and hasn't been in the game much, but doing a good job on defense there.
Goats surrender the ball and see what the Siege can do here on the 15-yard line to get things going. John F. Salmon, Luke McCard with you. Appreciate you spending your Saturday night with us. It's a hot one today. Got up about 98, Luke, but it's nice and air conditioned here in the Big Iron Event Center. Feels fantastic. Hot night for football on the field if you're down there. Turf's a little warm, but these guys are working hard. Yates gets the ball at the 10, looking to air it out, going to his right side. Ooh, plowed into the wall over there on that side is Daquan Dudley. He's okay. The ball will be out to about the 21.
Yeah, Dudley playing really well tonight. He's got 4 catches and 3 touchdowns. And that time doing a nice job securing the catch even with the impending defender coming at him, but securing it through the contact. Make it 2nd and short.
So let's see. You got Isaiah Gray back there. It's going to be Elijah Gray. Let's see if you hand off to him. Really hadn't had much. I was surprised, just 44 yards or 42 yards combined running, and as you ask and you shall receive there, Gray takes it out for the first and a little bit more. Between these two teams in the first half, I was saying 44 yards ran on the ground. But there's a good play right there for Gray for the first.
Yeah, now 8 rush attempts for the Siege, just 2 for the Goats. They've ran the ball well when they've tried. Occasionally getting stuffed, but Yates with 3 carries and now Gray with 4. Both of them have picked up good yards when they've had the chance to run it.
Ball on the 23-yard line of St. Joe. 45-38 Siege lead. Yates rolls to his left. Got defenders. Just shovel passes it to Vince Brown, who comes up with it. It's good hands. Receives that one about the 19-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. Maybe got up to 17.
Yeah, how about the strong hands there by the former Tiger, just securing it and ripping it away from the defender, and that's really impressive.
Even the shovel pass was a good spiral. Giving that over, and Brown had no idea the ball was coming to him, but he stayed back just in case. Had 4 touchdowns last week against Eau Claire. Gives this one off to Elijah Gray, and coming in from the side, making a really nice tackle. There was Joko Willis. He read that play perfectly, came in untouched to make the tackle.
Yeah, there you had Lore Fills, Willis, and Mike Reynolds all getting in on that tackle. Goats not fooled on that run.
Mike, we talk about Reynolds there, Mike Reynolds with the nickname Gravedigger. Got to be one of the better nicknames we've heard this year.
Yeah, and it's fitting, too, because that's what he does to the quarterbacks.
Yates airs it out, and nobody near him, and that's going to be, they're going to call
very obvious,
perhaps?
No, very obvious PI there on Morfills. He did not let Brown get out of his break there.
So now Vince Brown looking to get some action. They've kept him guarded all night, but they've had several penalties trying to guard him. At least, I think, 3 pass interferences tonight for St. Joe.
Yeah, he draws those a lot. As a Buccaneers fan, he reminds me a little bit of Mike Evans with his ability to bring in the contested catches and draw PIs, just because of how physical he is and how well he tracks the ball in the air.
Vince Brown, product of Missouri University.
Had a successful career at Colorado State, almost 300 yards as a tight end there. Before transferring to Missouri. Also, they wave off the pass interference.
Interesting.
It's now a big 4th down for the Siege.
So the refs took it back. Siege fans letting their frustration show here just a little bit.
They must have ended up calling it uncatchable.
So the ball will start on the 16-yard line. 4th down here. Siege going for just 4.
Here you see them leaving the middle of the field open again.
Single wide receivers. You have Davis wide open. Ooh, they're going to go for it and get a hand on it. There's picked off. And a nice ball there by St. Joe. Getting a hand on that one, the big guy out there. That's Mike Reynolds, the gravedigger. He's flexing the muscles, knocking it down, and it's a pick off. And a great grab there on the other side after getting it. That was Amir Anderson. First time we said his name tonight for St. Joe.
Yeah, that was a really good job by the St. Joe pass rush with Reynolds getting a hand in that because Kevin Davis was open down the field. That's where Yates wanted to go with the ball, but then Yates, we mentioned a couple times, only stands about 5'8", and Mike Reynolds was getting a hand in the passing lane, and Anderson capitalized on the opportunity to get an interception.
So now it is Goats ball, looking to chew up some yardage. See what I did there?
There you go.
Thank you.
Goats.
Are you writing these down?
Supposed
to be writing 16-yard line. That's what the Goats will start. Man in motion. Let's see what Trujillo can do. He's got a cannon. There's it out. Short pass picked up at the 23-yard line. And a nice catch there by Dom Marshall. They're going to say
a flag.
Ooh, they're going to say no. What's going on here now?
Averian Cole threw a swing at Dom Marshall.
Wow. Dom Marshall just the...
They always get the second guy there. Marshall jawing and Cole just reacting to it, and that was enough to draw the flag as they'll talk it over. But
yeah, here's the replay on that one. So at the end of this play, you'll see Cole takes him in. Marshall's chit-chatting. Exchanging recipes, perhaps? Nope, you can't be doing that with the helmet.
Yeah, no, that'll draw the flag all day, every day.
So not a smart penalty. No penalties are smart, but that's definitely not a smart penalty here for Nebraska. We talked about last week at 11 for 130 yards given up. Still won the game.
Goats have really spread the ball around. Martinez, Booth Smith, and Don Marshall all with 4 catches in this game. And Alston with 3 as well. 2 touchdowns for Martinez and Smith both. Alston and Marshall both bring in 1 as well.
So now you're giving really good field position here to the Goats. A very close game. 45-38 just the score. 8:13 left here. Josh Sam and Luke McCarg with you from the Big Iron Event Center ground in Nebraska on your Saturday. Hard to believe we're this far into July already. So they'll start with the ball on the 8-yard line. Trujillo looks to go up to Martinez. He pulls it down and brings it in. Wow, go gadget arms there for Martinez. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was a good trigger by Rian Green on that one, but a perfectly placed ball by Angelo Trujillo. Put it away from the defender where only his guy could get it, and then securing it at its highest point. That's just textbook fade ball.
Wow.
From Trujillo to Martinez, and they've really missed Angelo Trujillo at quarterback.
Tell you how close that was. If Ryan Martinez was to clip his fingernails, he wouldn't have caught that. He had to go extra on that one.
Yeah, that's his 5th catch of the game, his 3rd touchdown. He's been huge in this one.
So 7, going to give that a 8-yard pass. 1 for 1. Look underneath and can't get it. Hits a Siege player instead. And no good on the extra point. It's still a 1-point game. We've had this back and forth battle here. Seesaw between the Siege and the Goats.
Yeah, nice defense there by Sias Gandy on the conversion chance. He's played well in this one.
So St. Joe answers right back. St. Joe with 2 scores here in the second half. Nebraska with just 1, but still a 1-point lead as we're sitting 45-44. Still anybody's game. Siege looking to move on to 7-0. And Goats looking to ruin that and give them their first loss of the year. Plenty of football left here as we're only in the third quarter to the Big Iron Event Center and Ramada Field in Grand Island, Nebraska. Fantastic crowd on hand tonight here. Appreciate you tuning in wherever you're at. So Luke, you go back and watch a lot of film. What's the routine for you? You got popcorn? Are you watching like a fan? You got your clipboard? How's it go?
Oh no, I've got my spreadsheets open. I'm usually tracking scores and touchdowns as they go along, as the stats we get aren't always completely accurate, but do what we can with it, and I love watching football, so it's no problem for me.
That's going to be a touchback as someone thrown a little too hard there by Jacqueline Jackson, and so Siege will take it there with the field position and see what they can do with it. You know, there's been a lot of weapons used here by both teams tonight, and you see what you can do. I think maybe see if the Siege can get it back to Vince Brown. They seem to be leaning to him a little bit here in the third quarter as he's getting a little more open, as he's been covered really good in the first half by St. Joe.
Yeah, their best receiver in this game has actually been Daquan Dudley. That's not what I predicted going into this one. I was thinking it would be a lot of Kevin Davis, which it has been. Davis has played great, but Dudley has really impressed in this one. They should look to go to him even more.
Dudley with 3 touchdowns in this game. He jukes from the backfield. They do look to Vince Brown, as I said, catches at about the 20, and that's where he'll go out of bounds. So they are trying to utilize Van Brown a little bit up more up the middle.
And Brown is a guy they usually get going more later in the game. Early, he doesn't go out for a lot of routes. He comes in to block a lot more, but then as the other team's coaches make adjustments to try to guard the Siege receivers, they go to Brown more and more, and then late in the game, Vince Brown is their go-to target.
Him and David as their tight ends. Hampton moves to the right. He acts as a receiver, too. And the ball on a bad snap, Yates just falls on it wisely right on the Siege logo at the 24-yard line. Yeah,
the snaps have been much better in this game by Holgun than they have in the last 2 weeks with Reggie Patrick at center, but that one, not his best work.
Marcelo Hogan says, my bad. And so now you change your thing here. They're using 3 receivers this time. Hampton starting the backfield and juked out as the second receiver. You've got Daquan Dudley on our side here on the left side. No receivers on the right. Man in motion is Davis. Yates does roll left. Gets this one out. One-handed grab there. This one is picked up, are you kidding me, by David Brown. He takes it into the end zone for the touchdown. David Brown with the one-handed catch at the 20. Jukes and jives and gets it into the end zone for the touchdown. David Brown for a second tonight.
Yeah, David Brown, really good catch. But I also want you to watch Daquan Dudley on this replay if you can see him. Once Brown brought that one in, he turned around and became a lead blocker for Brown, and then just shielding off the defender, giving him enough to bring that one into the end zone. But great catch by Brown. Great blocking down the field, and the result is a Siege touchdown to put them back up 7.
Siege have 2 touchdowns in this quarter, both to David Brown. Good to have him back if you're Nebraska. Now they're going to go for 1. Had a little bit of problem converting this 1 point. Yates, defenders all over him. Dishes it off to Vince Brown. Spins around, gets in. Brown, what can Brown do for you? Spins and moves into the end zone for the extra point, and there you go. That could be a crucial point in this very close game.
Yeah, that's really important. The Siege have scored 4 points on their extra point opportunities. The Goats just 2. And if this comes down to being a 1-score game, that's going to be the difference in this one. As they now go up 8, and the Goats have to score twice on extra point opportunities or go for 2 to tie the game. It's a big difference.
Back in the first quarter, after Kevin Davis made a touchdown, with 2:38 left, they went for the extra point, and again, that time, it was also Vince Brown for the extra point.
Yeah, Brown's brought in 2, David Brown's brought in 1, and Kevin Davis has brought 1 in as well. It's really been a lot of different guys impacting the game for the Siege in this one. Kevin Davis has scored 2 touchdowns, one of them coming on a kick return. Daquan Dudley, we've mentioned several times, 4 catches, 3 touchdowns for him. And then Vince Brown also with 4 catches, a touchdown, and 2 extra points.
Yates to throw it off, and Boo Smith with his hands on his hips, not even acknowledging it. It's like, I don't think so. Not going to go there, Tim. So you look at the first quarter, there was 7 touchdowns, 4 by the Siege, 3 by the Goats. It was a 2-touchdown to 2-touchdown battle in the second quarter, and right now it's a 2-touchdown to 2-touchdown battle. It's going to be 3. There was 2 touchdowns to 2 touchdowns here in the third quarter by each team.
And now the Goats taking back over. If you're looking at the box score, you would have to think that the Goats have just destroyed the Siege in this game because they've been scoring at will on them and moving the ball at will at them. They have many more yards than the Siege do, but the field position and the penalties and the timely stops have been the difference.
Trujillo airs it out, pulling that one in, bringing it to 15. Boo Smith gets up to the 9-yard line, but what a throw. That was a huge throw. Give it 35 yards there, and a Trujillo to Boo Smith connection.
Yeah, there Cunningham just got ran by. Boo Smith beating him one-on-one, and now Keyshawn Cunningham down as well. Something that the Siege really can't afford is another injury on the back end of this defense. They don't have any more guys. They now have to bring in Kevin Davis to play defense.
That's what happens here with Cunningham. He had
he was his own teammate.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Clearly Smith outran him on that one. He is up, and he's hurting, but he's coming off the field. So at least he's up. That's a good sign. Looking with the trainer here, so Kevin Davis will come out.
Davis has played well defensively when he's in his limited sample size. He comes in when one of those defensive guys needs a break, but the 4 guys that are on the field, or that were on the field, are the only defensive backs that they carry, so Kevin Davis will have to come up the rest of the game.
Trujillo goes to Martinez. Ryan gets it out to about the 6-yard line before and pushed out of bounds. And I think I would just run out of bounds too if Reggie Patrick was coming after me.
Yeah, Reggie Patrick getting in some reps on defense. He hasn't played much in this game, but it's going to be an important part of this game going forward.
I was hoping you had a weight on Reggie. We don't have a weight on Reggie. He's big.
I might have one on mine.
Trujillo to the end zone. Martinez catches it. Is that in? That's a touchdown for St. Joe. Pulls that one in, Superman style, on his way down. Ryan Martinez with another touchdown.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns in this game. Ryan Martinez has been unbelievable. 7 catches. He has been their go-to guy. Boo Smith has been great as well. I mentioned who's going to be the guy for the Goats in pregame. The answer was everybody, to be honest, but Ryan Martinez especially has played very well in this one.
Going for 2. Trujillo looks for his man and gets Martinez again for the extra point. So both teams, this is interesting, Luke. You have David Brown scoring both touchdowns for the Siege in this quarter. You have Martinez scoring both touchdowns for St. Joe in this quarter. And both teams on the last 2 touchdowns have scored extra points. You want a fair battle, it's a fair battle.
Yeah, and that was a big-time 2-point conversion for the Goats. I mentioned how important these extra points are going to turn out to be. The Siege have been going for 1 all night, and the Goats, on the other hand, have hit on 2 2-point extra point conversions, both to Ryan Martinez. And the result, squared up right back where we started, 52-52. Even game with 4:54 left in the third quarter.
First time we've had a tie since before the game started, back at zeros. Josh Salmon, Luke McHarg with you from the Big Iron Event Center, Grand Island, Nebraska, on the Arena League. Appreciate to have you guys along all season long. This will be our last regular season home game, but we'll be back to the playoffs. One way or another, Nebraska will make the playoffs. If they win this week or next week, they will solidify a home field advantage if they have the best record in the league. So, Smith back to throw here. Jackson, back to throw it. Gets it out to Kevin Davis, who runs it up to about the 12-yard line and then runs out of room. So some work to do here.
Yeah,
I'd almost rather do the touchback,
there.
really.
Another solid return. Touchback would put him at the 5.
So now look and see what you do. It's been an interesting quarter. Brown with 2 touchdowns for the Siege. Martinez with 2 touchdowns for the Goats. All tied at 52. I hope you have your comfy seat and your comfy clothes on if you're watching at home. Don't go anywhere. This one is far from over. Just in the third quarter here, 4:21 left.
Yeah, Vince Brown's utilization has gone up a lot in the passing game here in the second half. We'll see how much they continue to go to him. Some easier completions for Yates, as we'll have a flag probably on the Goats.
I think it's offsides. Yeah, it did look like to me that they jumped off just a little bit. I think Gravedigger himself did it. I think that was Reynolds. He was the first guy to react. Another penalty there.
Just making things that much easier for the Siege.
No, it wasn't. I think it was, looked like Amir Anderson perhaps jumped off. Looking to maybe blitz on that far left side. Excuse me, the far right side coming in. Yates, it's a low snap. Songa running out of room, gets rid of the ball quickly, and gets it out to Kevin Davis at the 17-yard line. Good for a first down and some gravy.
Yeah, and I have that as Kevin Davis' just second catch of the night, but there you just had a crossing pattern, and the Goats had trouble with that last week against Iowa. Iowa ran a lot of deep crossers, and they connected on them a lot, and that's one thing in arena football where you have a lot of man coverage. Those deep crossers can be tough because it's just your speed versus their speed, and the defensive back doesn't know where the offensive player is going, and obviously
Offsides are on Davis.
the player knows where they're going, and will be back them up 5.
Kevin Davis did have 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. So Siege got a penalty a moment ago against, or gifted a penalty, and now they give one back. And so this is their third. They've got 2 just for St. Joe here in the third quarter. All tied at 52. You wanted a good football game. You got a good football game tonight in Grand Island. So now the Siege will be starting at the 20-yard line with first down and 15 to go.
Empty backfield.
Setting 3 receivers. Again, it's a low snap. Yates jogging around past his defender, rolls right, looking for a guy, airs it out, saying can't get to anybody. Ooh, that could have been bad. He was looking for Daquan Dudley.
Yeah, just floated that ball into no man's land, and lucky that it wasn't picked off.
Marcelo Hogan having a hard time with the snaps. We've seen 3 bounce on the ground in this quarter.
Yeah, he was great in the first half and through the first half of the third quarter, but down the stretch here, he's starting to struggle a little bit.
Vince Brown and him are talking things over. Vince does a lot of leadership out there for those guys on the field. So now we'll do it again. Second down and 15 from the 20. Yates rolling, airs it out. Vince Brown has a guy all over him and not getting the foul on that one. There's just really good defense there by the Goats.
Yeah, that's a great job in coverage there. Vince Brown, obviously,
Neville Smith.
We know what he can do, but Neville Smith,
Yeah,
running with him.
bring it in. Vince can get the flag penalties drawn on him a lot of times or against the other team, but not that time. Smith with really good defense for St. Joe, and so 3rd and 15 backs up against the wall here with the Siege.
And here you don't have to get it all back at once if you're the Siege. You can find one of those intermediate routes to make this easier 4th down for yourself.
Hampton, the man in motion. They fake it to him. Yates rolls. Got a defender all over him. Needs to get rid of it. Outruns his defender again. Looking to go right. And does dish it off this time to Hampton. Out to the 14-yard line. And Hampton gets out to the 4. Good for the first down.
Hampton bringing in his first catch of the game. Songa Yates, this is what he does so well. When there's nobody open, he just scrambles until somebody gets open. The defense cannot guard their defenders or their players for 8 seconds, 10 seconds, and if Yates can keep the play alive for that long, somebody is going to be open. It's a guarantee, and that time it was Hampton.
That's what the speed does for him in the back. Yes, he's not a quarterback by trade, but he's good at moving out of the way and shagging these big guys and giving time to get open. So
yeah, he plays backyard football.
Yates rolling right, looking to the end zone, to the corner boys. Nobody able to catch that one. So we'll go to second down. Some of the corner boys on vacation tonight. Not a big crowd as they had last time.
Yeah, slightly slimmer.
But they're on the field this time. They were kind of in the seats last week.
They haven't been quite as rowdy tonight. Not as much banging. They did get warned last week by the refs, so that might be a factor.
Little quieter tonight. Still a factor, though. Fake handoff. Yates airs it out to Vince Brown. Ooh, and that might be a pass interference there. No, nothing doing. Again, defense by Neville Smith.
Yeah, that's great defense by Neville Smith. Just getting a hand in there late to break up the pass. Brown was open, but not giving up on the play, and then just getting a hand in there to jar it loose. Force 3rd down.
Brown said something to Yates at the end of that play, and I'm not sure if he was excited about the good throw.
Now, the Siege bring in a different package. Holmes and Gray come in at tight end, and that means they'll move Vince Brown out to receiver. Try to free him up as we'll go to the 4th quarter.
End of the 3rd quarter, all tied at 52. It's been a really good football game. What will happen? 1 quarter of play left. Come back and find out here. St. Joseph 52, Nebraska 52. This is Arena League football from Grand Island, Nebraska. We'll be back. Welcome back to Grand Island, Nebraska. Touchdowns were even and all tied up here, 52-52 as we enter the fourth quarter from the Big Iron Event Center ground, Nebraska. Josh Ham and Luke McCarg with you here on the Arena League Football YouTube channel. Luke, it's just been a really, really good game since quarter number one, since the first snap.
Yeah, it's been a shootout from the very first play of this game, 52-52. We might score 200 combined points here in this one if this keeps going at this rate, but big third down here for the Siege.
I've already extended my scoring card. And other than low snap, Yates gets it, airs it out, throws it too high. Vince Brown is 6'6". If he was about 7'6", he could have pulled that one in.
Yeah, on that one, James Petrie got away with a little bit of a jersey tug at the top of the route. Everybody and their mom knew that Yates wanted to throw the ball to Vince Brown on that one. He's got 14 touchdowns on the season to lead the Arena League. He's their guy in these situations, but good defense by Petrie as the Goats have really tightened up here and now just need one more stop to give the ball back to their offense.
4th and goal. Dudley in motion. Hasn't said his name too much. They go that way, and it's going to be underthrown and out of bounds.
And just overthrew him there. The Siege convert 80% of their red zone opportunities, so uncharacteristic for them not coming up with anything there. But for the first time tonight, the Goats have come up with a big red zone stop, and that could be a turning point in this game as their offense gets the ball back with a chance to take the lead for the first time.
I guess the only good news there for Nebraska is not good field position for the Goats. They'll start with the 5-yard line. So you need to stop here. If you're a Nebraska Siege, your defense has been your go-to this season. You need to show Siege defense here and stop it.
And Josh Keyshawn Cunningham back out there at defensive back. That's a good sign for the Siege.
Trujillo airs out, goes to the right side there and gives that one over.
It's Marshall.
Thank you to Marshall.
That's his 5th catch of the game. Ties Boo Smith for 2nd. Martinez has 7. All 3 of those guys have been monsters tonight.
Marshall had that big touchdown right before the second half of time ran out. Or first half ended, excuse me. Airs this one out for Marshall. Takes it in for the end zone. Wow, what a pass from the 5-yard line down to Dom Marshall. Ask and you shall receive. We just said his name. That's a 2nd touchdown for him. Both huge plays.
And I don't think that defense was what the Siege had drawn up. I don't think you wanted Isaiah Nixon running down the field with one of the Goats' fastest defenders. And like I said earlier, you can't run certain coverages if you can't communicate, and that had to have been some sort of miscommunication there.
We saw St. Joe score right away in the first drive in the third quarter. They do the same thing here in the fourth quarter. So now they're going to go for one. These extra points could be crucial in this game tonight. Trujillo rolls right up the lane. I thought maybe he was going to take it himself, gets it to the back. No, Martinez is in there for the extra point. And now the Goats have the lead for the first time tonight.
Martinez has got all of their extra points in this one. He's played so well today. And Josh, at this point, the teams might as well just start with the Goats defenders 30 yards past the Siege defenders and just throw the ball to them right away, because almost on every single play there's been an open Goats receiver down the field.
Yep, defensive backs and not covering back their safety area has been an issue tonight for Nebraska. And we don't say that very characteristically with them having the best defense statistically coming into this game. But we've seen some big plays on first drive. And Trujillo, and he's used, and credit to Trujillo too, he's used a lot of different guys. You know, you cover Boo Smith and he's gotten it out to Marshall, he's gotten it out to whoever else. So
yeah, and that's what makes the Goats so good. They have so many good defenders, or so many great receivers with Martinez, Smith, and Marshall all getting open today. And it makes it really easy for a quarterback when you always have an open receiver.
Davis receives it in the end zone, takes it out to the 5, cuts up to the 10. He's going to be pushed out of bounds about the 11-yard line. So not the greatest field position again. Siege got some work to do here. First time they've trailed tonight, down by 7 right now. So many similarities in this game. Talked about 4 touchdowns for the Siege in the first quarter, 3 for the St. Joe. You had right at the end of the third quarter, you had 3 for St. Joe in the third quarter and 2 for Siege. Second quarter, both had 2 touchdowns, and now
top of your screen, one-on-one, Kevin Davis on Darius Lordfills.
Dudley cuts across the middle of the field. Let's see if he's going to be the intended receiver. Looks like he is, and catches it. Is it good? They're going to say no catch. I don't think.
I can't see it here with the wall.
26-yard line is where he was going to catch. Nope, no good. Just a little low. This will show a good angle here on this one. And, yep, he never corralled it.
Had a chance at it. Yates gave him a chance, but couldn't hang on to it.
So now let's see if you go. They have Gray lined up as a receiver. He cuts back across the field. Looking for Dudley. He's covered very well. Yates gets it out to somebody. Guess who? Vince Brown. He can't corral it either. He hits the wall pretty hard. He kind of bent backwards. Really good defense there again by the Goats on that one.
Amir Anderson.
That was Amir Anderson, yeah.
They've played really well on Vince Brown. They've had some nice PBUs in those tight situations with Vince Brown. Guys on the outside, not quite so much, but in the box, very good coverage.
There's no drums here. That's the Goats players beating on the mats. You hear that up here. Yates airs it out looking for his man, and Vince Brown, that's definitely pass interference. You cannot do that one there as Neville Smith was hugging him.
Yeah, they just keep throwing up to Brown and hoping that they get pass interference, and it's been a pretty decent strategy for him in this one as all over him.
Yeah, I don't think Brown even knew for sure it was coming to him because his back was turned towards the ball and he started to turn around.
Yeah, Neville Smith had 2 great breakups on the last drive, but that time he was all over Brown and
reassured there by his teammate, Joko Willis, to say, hey, we all do it. Just shake it off, move on. So now ball can be right at the 25-yard line. So Siege need to capitalize on this one. They're trailing for the first time tonight with 11:44 left in official regulation here in the fourth quarter. 59-52. Josh Salmon, Luke McCarg with you on your Saturday night here. Yates twins to the left side, single receiver on the right. Yates tosses out a prayer to Kevin Davis and overthrows that one, and that's going to be pass interference as well. C.J. Bradley all over him.
We'll see if the officials talk about that one because there was a lot of contact, but the ball was not really in an area where Brown was going to get to in any universe. So
yeah, I don't think it was much of a catchable ball like you're saying, so this could be recalled.
But also, there's just no need for the contact there for your C.J. Bradley. The ball was not going to be caught, and they do wave off the flag.
Yeah, so no pass interference. Goats did get in some trouble and penalties in the first quarter. I had 8 unofficially, but they've really calmed down since then. Nebraska leading with penalties since then, even though it's low. 2 receivers to the left side. Yates rolls up the middle and nothing doing there. He's eaten up big time by the Goats defense. Bradley getting in on that one. You also have the gravedigger, Michael Reynolds.
Yeah, and Yates is really athletic, and he can scramble out of a lot of tough situations, but if you're getting sandwiched from both sides, and there's just nowhere to go, and that'll be a sack for C.J. Bradley to go with his interception today.
Nice job of the Goats collapsing that pocket pretty quickly. Down to 3rd and 12 now for the Siege. Need a play here to get something going. You had that pass interference call, need to take advantage of it. Yates rolls right, he's got time, almost falls down, picks himself back up, rolls around, dishes it off to Gray, and it wasn't a very good shovel pass for Elijah Gray. Usually he can come up with stuff, but that was not a good pass. And it's a bad situation here for Nebraska right now.
Yeah, this is a tough spot. You would have liked to at least pick up something. They're kind of in a no man's land where if they elect to surrender, it doesn't move the ball that much further down the field. But also 4th and 12 is a big ask for your offense.
It's like a timeout call. So say Joe taking a timeout on this one. 59-52, and yeah, it's kind of a conundrum like you said. I mean, obviously you're down by 7, you want to go for it, but if you surrender it, you give them good field position, which they don't need. We've seen them have multiple 40-yard throws tonight, so St. Joe wants to talk things over, so does Nebraska.
Yeah, that's the other factor here. If you're the Siege, you might as well go for it because the 15-yard line is just as much scoring range as the 23 of the other team is because they make great throws down the field, and they've been able to – they actually scored more from deep in their own territory than right up against Siege's defense.
Martino Theus, head offensive coordinator down there talking things over with the Siege. What do you do here? Sending Receiver to the right side, looks like Elijah Gray. You also got Dudley. The lone receiver on the left side is Kevin Davis.
Now a bit of a different approach. You got two guys back for the Goats.
Dudley's open. If he can get it to him, he does. Receives it at the 10, 5, in for the touchdown. Daquan Dudley, are you kidding me? Brings it in for Nebraska.
Yeah, his breakout game now. He's got his 4th touchdown catch of the game, his 5th catch on total, and he has played so great today, and it wasn't really something I expected. I mentioned one of the true receivers is going to have to step up, whether it's Kevin Davis, Daquan Dudley, Keon Mosey, who ended up not playing today, but it's Ben Dudley answering the call, filling Songa Yates' role.
He caught that one about the 15, kind of stumbled a little bit, regained his balance, and ran it in for the end zone. A really good play there called by Coach Theus.
Josh, they need this conversion, though, down 1.
Low snap, Yates gets it, looking for somebody. Night tights coverage, and gets it off to St. Joe. They pick it off. And loses the ball, but picks it back up, and Yates falls down at the 1. Ball loose again. Who's going to get it? Wow, what a wacky play that is. I know it's fair time, but the circus is here already.
Yeah, the Goats like to utilize the lateral. We've seen that a lot in some of their past games. That time, not the best idea for Bradley.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to give the ball up. You're right. I thought maybe he fumbled it, but Yates picks it up, almost took it in himself, and then he tried to dish it off at the end, too. So it's just going to be no extra point is what it is, but it is a 1-point game once again as we have a player down for St. Joe. Trying to get a number on who that is. We're not in the best vantage point. Oh, it's up, and he's good.
So both teams have spread the ball around a lot today. Daquan Dudley's got 4 touchdowns on 5 catches. Davis has 2 touchdowns, 2 catches, and Vince Brown has 4 catches, but no touchdowns to show for it. On the other side, the Goats have given it to Ryan Martinez for 4 touchdowns on 7 catches, and then also 2 touchdowns for both Boo Smith and Dom Marshall. Smith with 5 catches, Marshall with 6.
Well, that extra point would have tied it up, but Siege still trailed by 1. Vince Brown back to throw off here for Nebraska. Of course, Boo Smith is back there. He hasn't really touched the ball very much on special teams at all tonight. He's been letting almost everything go. And it's paid off for them in the long run. He does move up to the 10-yard line, talking to his guys. And lets the ball go again.
Yeah, he's not been super aggressive going after these throw returns.
He's kind of like the kid that's like, don't hit the ball to me in the outfield. You know, when you're like 8 years old.
Right.
Don't hit it to me, don't hit it to me, don't hit. That was me when I was like 10. So now, Siege needs a good stop here. They've had a couple 3-and-outs tonight. Need to get a good stop going against the Goats. Goats don't have very good field position, but that means nothing with Angelo Trujillo back there.
Yeah, look for the Siege maybe to send a little bit more pressure. They've backed off a lot and dropped 4 guys into coverage most of the night, and it hasn't worked for them so far, so maybe sending a little bit of pressure could change things up.
Angelo gets this one out, and going to be caught there at the 10-yard line. Goes to Martinez. Is that Alston?
Ooh, yes.
Yes, Alston, you're right.
His 4th catch of the game.
And that's kind of what I talked about for my keys of the game for them, is utilizing these other receivers second half. He lines up as a tight end now. Boo Smith was in the backfield. He goes out as a receiver, rolling, and he might want, no, didn't quite go past the line of scrimmage. I thought maybe he went past the line of scrimmage, but he ran right to it.
He was close.
Angelo Trujillo. This is a good stop so far for the Siege. They need to do something here and get the ball back. Got time, 9:06, but what an offensive output here so far for this game. Ball back on the 15-yard line. A nice catch. Are they going to be fair catch? Yes, they are. Good toss out there. And that was Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, the Siege defensive backs have been forced to play off of these Goats receivers because of their speed, but then when it gets down to those 3rd and short opportunities, we've had a lot of easy completions because of that cushion.
1st and 10 now. Trujillo almost picks it off. Cole got hands on it, just couldn't quite corral it. That could have been a huge play in this game.
Yeah, that would have been an absolute game changer. Varian Cole had a chance at his 5th interception of the year. but that came at him hot.
59-58. Goats lead. They took the lead in the third quarter. Trujillo looks to air it out. Gets that one out to Alston again. Gets it out for the first down and some change. No, not quite first down. Sorry. Gets it out to the 21.
Nice rally there coming up as Alston becomes the fourth receiver to have 5 catches.
Hurry up offense. And it was so fast the quarterback almost wasn't ready for it. Gets that one out to his wide receiver there. That was Dom Marshall who has touchdowns. Very quick offense running here. Hurry up offense by St. Joe.
If nothing else, this game has been good for Angelo Trujillo's stats. You can say that much.
Trujillo back to throw, airs it out, has a receiver, Martinez. We had some pushing over there, but no good. Nice defense applied there by Siege. That was Ryan Green.
Yeah, that's some of the best coverage we've seen all night from the Siege defenders. Ryan Green with him every step of the way.
So now you go down, third down here. Actually, no, it's still second, I guess. Take that back.
Martinez, a pillar of this Goats team. He's been with him since the first season.
High snap, Trujillo brings it in. Just a little squib pass to Smith, who dishes it off to Alston. He goes out to the 11, gets out to about the 7, and brings it down. So there's that little shovel pass you talked about. Quick moves there from Booth Smith to Alston.
Yeah, they like to use the lateral. I saw it a lot on film last week against Iowa. They haven't done it much in this game, but they're effectively use it.
Trujillo taking it himself in for the touchdown. Angelo Trujillo running it in. We talked about his legs. He doesn't run them in too much, but he got one there.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen him run the ball all game long.
No, they're going to stop him at the 1, apparently. Said he's ran out of bounds at the 1.
Now a chance. It's a big ask for this Siege defense, but they play best with their back against the wall. They've done it all year long. Best red zone defense in the league.
Timeout called by the Goats. This is personnel changes here. I think they want to discuss some things out there on the field. So Siege defense looks like they're pretty tired out there. We haven't seen them this exhausted all year.
Well, they're just so thin, Josh. They only had 17 players active in this game when then not seeing Keon Mosey out there, so just 16 players active for this game. And then an injury goes down, and all of a sudden you're looking really thin.
We mentioned no Simmons, no Serta tonight. As arresting Serta one more week and come back off his injury. We'll make sure he's close to 100% as possible when he starts against Iowa next week and into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a ton of production you take off the field. Between the two of them, they have 6 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and an interception. So not having those two guys out there hurts the team a lot.
Gravedigger coming off here for St. Joe. Mike Reynolds. So we're having a review here, official review, to see if they got the touchdown or not. The ball reaching over the fence. Ooh, it looks like it's into me on that replay.
So they switch it, and Trujillo picks up a rushing touchdown, and that changed this game a lot.
Yeah, that is. It looked good from the beginning to me.
Yeah,
for Trujillo, but and the review crew has done fantastic all season long. It's one of those ones you got to check in a close game.
Now they really need to pick up a stop here to make things easier on themselves on offense.
Fans getting loud for Nebraska. Airs it out. One-handed. Alton, are you kidding me? He brings that down?
What a catch by
Alston. That is Isaiah Alston. Brings it down by his fingertips. Reaches up over his defender. Holy moly. That might be the catch of the night there. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think he ever brought a second hand in there. Maybe a little bit to secure it, but that's a heck of a catch by Alston.
Holy moly.
So now an 8-point game. The Siege could still tie it, but it would take a 2-point conversion from the 10-yard line. Those are tough.
You know, with Angelo Trujillo's run, I'm looking at my scorecard here. That's the first running touchdown tonight for either team. First rushing.
Yeah,
is that right? That's what I
yeah,
have.
and that's only the third rush attempt. The first rush attempt from the Goats of the entire second half. And why run it when you can throw the ball for 40-yard touchdowns on every play? But
now, big lead here. 8-point lead for St. Joe.
Time starting to become a factor now inside of 6 minutes.
66-58 here. Siege needs something to happen on a kickoff. We had Kevin Davis run one back earlier. Back in the first quarter, he ran it off with two something left. It's a big throw. He's gonna receive it deep in the end zone. Takes it up to the 5, up to the 10, runs into his own man, out to the 12, 15, and that's about where we're going to stop there. Is a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. Some lip smacking.
Yeah, this league tends to get chippy around the walls. There's a lot of opportunities for cheap shots. There wasn't really one there, but just with the nature of how physical those plays are near the wall, there's a lot of stuff that goes down in the unsportsmanlike genre.
So now, see what you can do here. Got some work to do. Ball on the 15-yard line. Sending 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Yates rolling, scrambling. Takes up the middle himself. Cuts it back past the line of scrimmage. Gets out to about the 20. A gain of about 5 on the play.
Yeah, David Brown kind of just standing right where Songa wanted to run. So he had to shift a little bit. Had a chance at a big gain there, but just kind of got hung up.
Well, nice job on changing the play there by Yates. He saw he didn't have receivers open, so decided to take it himself. So he's getting a little more comfortable back there. A guy that comes into this team as a wide receiver.
It's the first time Yates tried to run in the second half.
Snap. Defensive back. Hampton with a key block, and defender no pass interference. Nice block there by Hampton that's just overthrown again by Yates. We talked about that going into the second half here.
Significant contact at the top of that route with Petrie, but call from the officials, so now it'll be 3rd and 5.
We give a shout out to Mike Indorf, who's watching the game tonight. The comforts of his own living room here in Grand Island. Great crowd on hand here, nonetheless, at the Big Iron Event Center. Probably the largest crowd all year. Which is saying stuff because we've had some great crowds. Yates back to throw here on 3rd and 5. Up the middle, gives it up to Brown. Vince Brown out to the 7, pushed out of Brown. What can Brown do for you? Another first down. He's the go-to man when pressure's on.
And there was, the Goats only sent one guy, and then with what Yates can do with his legs, he just extends plays, and defensive backs cannot stick with their players that long. It's just going to happen. If you have to run around for that long, they're eventually going to get open, and that's what happened there.
Yates looks for the end zone and overthrows his man, and Davis ran up the middle. He zagged, and I think he was supposed to zig. A little miscommunication there on the route.
Tight window there to fit that one in, and just missed as we have an injured Goat on the field.
Goat down.
St. Joseph Goats, haven't mentioned this today, are partially owned by the Kelsey brothers, Jason and Travis.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
They're sponsored by Garage Beer, which is the Kelsey brothers company. That's where the ownership comes from, as you may have seen that on the Goats uniforms.
It was Neville Smith that got hurt on the play. I think he was just doing a little goat yoga. Perhaps.
Keep on coming.
I thought I was out of puns. Came up with one more. He does come off the field. Good to see him up moving, though. So now 2nd and 10 here. Got a couple receivers, Davis and Hampton on the near side. As your twins, no receivers on the left. Yates with Dudley in the backfield. Man in motion, running up as the 3rd receiver. He cuts up to the right. Screenplay this one out to Davis and picked off. Wow. Interception first of the night, and that one coming up with Boo Smith.
Yeah.
Big play.
Huge play. A ton of defense, but that's just a bad throw by Songa Yates.
Yep.
And Brown.
That could be big.
Brown just kind of lost it a little bit, and that really hurts the Siege chances. As now with just 3 minutes and 4 seconds, they need to come up with a stop on defense here to give them any chance of coming back in this game.
Nebraska needs to maybe get a strip or something. They need need to make something happen on defense to create offense. That was I think it was a design route because he looked right to a Brown, but it was underthrown, or Vince Brown went too fast or something. But anyways, the defender got in there. Boo Smith, nice job in the corner to get in there for that one.
Stop is essential for them winning this game.
Trujillo outthrows his guy. Ooh, almost picked off by Cole.
That was almost
or
it.
Green, excuse me.
Trujillo thought Martinez was going to keep going, and Martinez snapped off his route. Reed and Green had a chance to change the game, but doesn't stand, still second and long.
66-58, a little bit like the air kind of went out the balloon here for the Siege so far. You got 2.5 minutes left. And Nebraska taking a timeout, want to talk some things over and get some hydrogen, some water going here. H2O, what does Coach Juvie have under his belt here? Juvie Berry, the defensive coordinator.
The Siege are going to have to start using their timeouts to preserve time for their offense. They need to stop here and then a score and a 2-point conversion. It's a long shot, but it's still possible.
Talked about the big plays in this game. It's been some big throws. Marshall had that 45-yard touchdown catch to begin the fourth quarter on the first down. And then they had Trejo ran it in himself with just a 10-yarder. But long ways to go with this one on the 5-yard line. 2nd and 10 for the Goats. Angelo Trujillo, high snap, takes it himself, runs it up the lane, out to the 10. He's tripped down and helmet comes off. So helmet comes off, get to come out. And that's Isaiah Gandy, loses his lid.
Yeah, Gandy with a shoestring tackle to save Trujillo, probably getting a first down there.
So Kevin
now
Davis
will bring in Kevin Davis.
There you go. Kevin Davis will come back. We talked about the Finn in the defensive department with Simmons and Serta not playing in this one. 3rd down. This is a huge stop here. If the Siege can do it. Timeout called by the Goats. They're all kinds out of sorts right now. They're running out of time, and guys were still figuring out where they're supposed to be on the field. So we talked about the struggles that St. Joe has had coming into this game with the 3rd down. We haven't really seen that much, especially in the second half.
Well, they haven't really gotten to a lot of 3rd downs because
so many good plays.
They've had played so well on 1st and 2nd down. But as we mentioned a couple times, 37% hit rate on their 3rd downs, which is bottom 3 in the league.
It's a situation like this, 3rd and 6, where I'm glad I'm not a defensive coordinator, because will Trujillo keep it again? You know, where they air it out. I mean, there's so many options. You've got so many tools if you're St. Joe right now.
And the Siege defenders have been forced to play really far off of their defenders because of all the deep plays, but now they really have to tighten up because of the situation.
Trujillo rolls it out and knocked down by Green. Great play on defense to get a hand on that one. Coaches tell you keep yourself between the ball and the defender. That's why. Putting a paw on it, knocking it down, Rian Green.
Yeah, that was a great play there with a big pass breakup. That will bring us to the 2-minute warning, and the Siege will get the ball back. Don't go anywhere.
66-58. Can the Siege stage a comeback with less than 2 minutes? We'll be back. This is Arena League football from Grand Island, Nebraska.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite TAL player.
The neighbors just stopped by. Can you throw these on the grill?
Garage beef? Huh. 5 more minutes.
All beef hot dogs. Filled with beer.
Honey, where are the gosh dang dogs?
5 more minutes.
Garage beef from Garage Beer.
What'd you do to these dogs?
Almost done.
Back at the Arena League football here in Grand Island, Nebraska at the Big Iron Event Center. Josh, Sam, and Luke McHarg with you as Nebraska Siege trailing 66-58. Second half has belonged to St. Joe with the lead. Some big plays. And Siege needs something to get back in this one. Run out of time, Luke, with 2 minutes.
Yeah, they got to score on this drive, and then they got to get a 2-point conversion.
Ooh, offsides. Who is this going to be on? Of course, everybody points at everybody else. We'll find out who jumped off the sides. Officiating crew will announce that. So, okay, I guess they're not calling a penalty there.
Nothing.
So ball will be on the 15-yard line. Siege need a big play. Kevin Davis on the right side.
Simulated all-out pressure here from the Goats.
Dudley on the top. Yates in trouble again. Tries to get rid of this one. Airs it out to Kevin. Vince Brown had no idea the ball was coming to him. Double coverage on him that time.
Yeah, he did not see the ball. He had a chance at that one. Yates actually threw a pretty decent ball towards the sideline there, but we'll come back and try it again on second.
He had two guys on him, Amir Anderson, and he also had Joko Willis. Double coverage on Vince Brown. See if he goes back to Dudley this time. I still say use Elijah Gray. We haven't seen him much. Dudley breaks out in the open. Yates looking for Dudley. Gets it to him. It's a catch at the 17. Oh, he can't bring it down. I thought for sure he had it, but I think it was knocked away. Good defense there by St. Joe.
Yeah, Petrie making a nice play now. And he's played really well tonight. Has been with the Goats all year long, but with a couple injuries. Coming up with some big plays here against the number 1 rated Siege.
Siege in danger of losing their first game of the year, and this is a close one for them. They struggled here in the second half against St. Joseph. We talked about the thinning defense, but you got to get something done on offense here. Yates has a man. That's David Brown. He overthrows his receiver, and there's going to be a flag on the play here.
Yeah, they might end up getting bailed out here as nothing was going on in that play.
That was just an emergency throw to trying to go up top to David Brown, but as the officials talk it over, Aaron Taylor, your white hat tonight. As it stands right now, ball sitting on the 15-yard line. It'll be third down and a ways to go. 3rd and 10 to be exact. The ball has not moved. It's going to be pass interference again. This one going against St. Joe. And they're trying to say
the ball was tipped, which gives the Goats the right to contact.
Ball is up in the air.
The ball, they might have a point. The ball, either that was just a duck from Songi Yates or it was tipped at the line because that was spinning really funny.
Amir Anderson, yeah, I don't know. It might have been tipped at the beginning, like you said. Amir Anderson wasn't close to tipping it in the back.
Yeah, it would have been at the line.
So now the ball moves up to the 24-yard line. Siege still in their own 24. Yates scrambling. Look who's coming after him. And breaking the tackle there. Boo Smith doing a little bit of everything tonight.
Yeah, they haven't really used it much defensively tonight, but now coming up with an interception and a sack. 2 really big plays as that hurts the Siege a lot as they'll have 2nd and 20 now.
So a timeout called here. 1:30 left in this game, and Siege trailing 66-58. Not something we've said too much tonight. Trying to figure out something as we have.
And now burning that timeout, you're officially pretty much putting all your eggs in this basket as they have to score on this drive to keep this game alive. And then they have to get a 2-point conversion. 2nd
and 19. We talked about some big plays the Siege may have up their sleeves. You need one here. Trick play something. You need somebody to bring in the ball. You need a good throw here from Yates. Gray lining up as a receiver on the right side. Dudley on the left side. Coming out of the backfield will be Kevin Davis. Got your bookends of David Brown and Vince Brown. Yates gets rid of it quickly, and it's underthrown.
Yeah, he had Davis open there, but just struggling. And we've seen Songi Yates just sort of coming back down to earth. The first couple outings were so unreal for Songa coming in, and now he's starting to look a little bit more like a wide receiver playing quarterback out there.
Yeah, he's underthrown or overthrown a lot of guys tonight. He's a great young man, but
And now still with the situation he's been put in, he's still playing very well.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Playing quarterback as a receiver, but starting to look a little bit more like reality.
Airs it out. He's got a man down there and nothing doing. Overthrows his receiver. Tended for Dudley, and very tight coverage there by St. Joe. That was C.J. Bradley. And it's not looking good for the Siege right now.
Yeah, not getting anything on that play hurts a lot. They needed to make that a shorter 4th down chance. Now 4th and 20 is a real prayer.
So you got to do it here, or this game could be very well over. This is going to be a big play tonight. Biggest of the night for the Siege. They haven't been in a situation like this all year where they've been this close to losing. Coming in with a perfect 6-0 record. St. Joe lost last time to him. Comes in with a 4-2 record. Yates gets it. Scrambles, and defense going to be all over him. He gets out of it. He runs up to the 10, throws it off, and gets Elijah Gray. Is it good for the first down? It's going to be really close.
No, that's for the first sticks. They had to get all the way to the
Oh, sorry. Yep. That was back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that's going to do it. The Goats should just be able to run out time now, and the 6-0 season will come to an end as Mike Reynolds down.
He is down. He is down and hurt. They went running out there really quickly. We saw him come off earlier with an injury.
Oh, he is not. This could be really bad as
they're waving for somebody to get over here.
As he's not moving over there.
Yeah, his head's moving a little bit, but that's it. So they're calling for some backup on this one. But boy, it's been a good night here for St. Joe. I mean, you look at the second half here. You know, they kicked off both halves with those huge drives. I mean, to me, you're coming back with those huge drives to begin the play, and the defense was just a little lax sometimes. With Boo Smith, you had the big 35-yard touchdown to begin the third quarter, and then you had Don Marshall with the 45-yard throw to begin the fourth quarter, and those are some big plays that really made a difference in this game. Really hasn't been much with penalties tonight for the Siege, but just like we said, the ball overthrown, underthrown on opportunities, and Trujillo and the Goats have capitalized on a lot of open field opportunities for them. They've blown, some defensive blown coverages have been a big part of this game for the Siege.
Well, this is a Siege defense who, on average, coming into this game, allowed just 32 points per game, which is well below average as Stretcher comes out, which is never a good sign. But
yeah, this could be big. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's a big one for the Gravedigger, and you hate to see this for anybody. Okay, we're going to send it to break here as they tend to the Gravedigger himself, Mike Reynolds. We'll take a break and come back at 66-58. Goats leading over Siege here with a minute 12 from the Big Iron Event Center. This is Arena League football.
What if you could talk directly to your favorite Arena League player? Welcome to VIP Ballers, a social media platform where you can get direct access to your favorite player, DM them, get training for your young athlete, mentorship, personalized videos, and exclusive content. All you need to do is head to VIPballers.com, sign up, and follow your favorite Towel player.
Well, they're tending to Michael Reynolds there, and everybody's clapping that they got him onto the stretcher. But it's an ankle injury, is what we know.
Yeah, it's never good when you see this, and our thoughts and prayers will be with
definitely
Mike Reynolds and
what a gamer that guy is. What a dude.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player, and now he's
all of his guys and all the Nebraska guys are coming over as well to pay respects as he is on the stretcher here and get it wheeled out. To call him the Gravedigger for a reason. He makes big plays. He's a big dude, but it was a bad ankle injury, I'm told.
Yeah, and you saw how much they missed him last week against Iowa, and now presumably will be without him for the rest of the season. Be the end of the road for his season with the Goats, but this is just a really tough scene.
Yep, I think he's got some family or something down there too. He's going to walk out with him, so. But we like to see the sportsmanship by everybody. Meanwhile, 66-58 is our score here. Goats have played a really good second half, some big plays for them. You know, we kind of talked about off air. You mentioned that Angelo Trujillo for the Goats, he's thrown 9 touchdowns tonight and no interceptions. That's amazing, phenomenal night.
Yeah, he will definitely be the player of the week, I would guess. Although there's been some really good performances down in between Ozarks and Arkansas, 63-30. That one went final. Big upset with the Lunkers beating the Diamonds.
So there's his mom walking off right now for. And there's Mr. Reynolds.
Got that air cast on his leg.
Yeah, wish the best for him. He's a beast. Mike Reynolds and that ankle. So getting him off, and when he wasn't moving at all is what was scary.
Yeah. So 3 teams this week scoring over 60 points, with the Lunkers putting up 63 in a win over Arkansas. Iowa scoring 62 against Eau Claire in that win. And then the last one, Monroe beating Memphis 46-18, a huge game for playoff implications over there as Monroe takes a big step towards probably making the playoffs. And with this one, the Goats keep winning and probably secure a playoff spot. Yeah. And then for the Siege, all their goals still ahead of them. If they win next week, they secure home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, they still have the best record.
Games.
And either way, Siege are going to the playoffs. It's just a matter of home field advantage. This time it's a handoff. Try to get up the middle, and gain of maybe 1 on that one as they hand it off to Malik Wilson. We hasn't said his name too much tonight.
Yeah, he's been the one member of the Goats that has been really quiet. He was big in the Goats' win last time against the Siege and has been their leader in scrimmage yards all year. He's been very quiet. Just the 4th time he's touched the ball. Not really done much there.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 9 here for the Goats, but Nebraska takes a timeout as
59 seconds. They could technically still have the chance if they can.
Boy, this is where you try to strip the ball. You just try to strip it, make something happen. Knock it down, intercept it. You got to run it back. I mean, you got to get something to get back in this game. You're down to less than a minute, and a minute away from your first loss of the year. So Nebraska needs to do something really big on defense here.
Surely the Goats will run it here and just.
Trujillo's going to down it with 55 seconds. That's at the 20, so they actually lose yards on that one. So 46-45, clock still moving. 3rd and 15. Something very odd happens. The Goats will move on and hand Nebraska their first loss of the year.
But now Siege enter an interesting position with Iowa, who has been playing really good lately as St. Joseph takes a timeout. Iowa picking up the win over Eau Claire today, now won 2 in a row and then played really well in their loss against the Siege as well. They have to beat them if they want to secure home field advantage, pending what the other 2 teams do, who still have a chance at it. But the Goats will have 2 losses. The Diamonds will have 2 losses after today. And then the Siege still with 1 loss. So if they can win next week, they would secure home field advantage in both playoff games.
St. Joe will take on Eau Claire next week. So either way, the Siege will be into the playoffs. But you're trying to secure home field advantage. You need 1 of 2. So if you lose this one tonight, you got to win next week for home field. Back to heel scrambling. Got a guy pack him and making a tackle there. That's a nice tackle put down for the Nebraska Siege, and Isaiah Nixon laying it down.
Yeah, Trujillo just scrambling and trying to burn as much time as he can. They'll have to snap it one more time, I think. Nope, never mind.
Helmets are coming off. This might be the end of the game here. And players are walking off, and that's going to be our final, folks. Pulling off the upset, St. Joe wins this one 66-55. Goats come in here and no gruff about it. Last punt, I promise. And pull off a really good game here. And Trujillo with an unbelievable performance tonight. He played a little bit last week coming off an injury, but 9 touchdowns tonight thrown by him and no interceptions. And obviously going to be a player of the game there. And that, we saw why the number 1 defense here is St. Joe tonight.
Yeah, Goats we're clicking on all cylinders offensively. This is the worst game we've seen the Siege defense play by far. They were without Jason Serta and without Evan Simons, and it was evident, and they played very poorly today, and they'll have to bounce back and play better next week.
We'll take a break and come back as St. Joseph wins this one 66-58. This is Arena League football. We'll be back here from Grand Island, Nebraska. Welcome back to Grand Island, Nebraska. Well, the perfect season for the Siege comes to an end tonight, losing 66-55. It's going to be 66-58 to St. Joseph, and we saw why St. Joseph is the number 1 offense in the league with Angelo Trujillo as a quarterback. 9 touchdowns thrown tonight, Luke, with no interceptions, and just a really good output there by St. Joe in offense.
Yeah, it was really evident how much they missed him in the past couple weeks, and the receivers really put on a clinic today. Martinez with 8 catches for 4 touchdowns. Marshall, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns. Smith, 6 catches, 2 touchdowns. All of those would be great for a number 1 receiver, and then having 3 of them on one day, obviously you're going to win. And just nothing really clicked all day long for the Siege defensively. Didn't apply much pressure as they have in past weeks, and then had wide open receivers downfield all game long.
We look at the stats here. You look for St. Joe. They passed for more yards. The completion percentage was higher. Passing TDs was higher. Rushing yards were less. And no turnovers for them as well. So the numbers there kind of dictate the way that things went. And this is, as you said, one of the worst performances we've seen defense for Siege all season long. Yes, they're missing 2 guys, but you got to step up against this team. And there was a lot of blown coverages early in the game, especially allowing those big plays. You come out, you look at Boo Smith had the big touchdown to begin the third quarter on the first play, and then you had Marshall with the big play for St. Joe to begin the fourth quarter, and that's sometimes a difference in the game. Some of those big plays making your extra points at the end too.
Yeah, and not to be too critical about the DBs, they've played pretty well all year long, but the Goats really did expose a weakness for the Siege, and that is on the backside of their defense. If the big 4 for the Siege aren't applying pressure, then the DBs struggle a little bit, and that was evident tonight.
We appreciate you tuning in tonight as the Goats will take on Eau Claire, and Siege will head on the road to take on Iowa to wrap up the regular season. Both these teams will be making the playoffs. We'll have to see what happens next week to determine home field advantage. For Luke McHarg, this is Josh Salmon. We'll be signing off here from Grantland, Nebraska, from the Big Iron Event Center. Once again, Goats win this one. St. Joe wins over Nebraska 66-58. You guys have a blessed weekend and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Try to stay cool wherever you're listening.